episode of Isekai Realms. Ninth, I say in air quotes because who really knows? Anyway,
Who
I
really
am very
does, man?
proud to be a player in this game. We're going to get to our actual DM of the evening after I introduce all the players. And by I mean we, the team. Take it away, Allie.
Hello, everybody. I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short. I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. And tonight I am playing myself, but as an elf, my elf self. So let me talk about one of our sponsors first before we move on, though. And that would be Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Idle Champions is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons and Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels. The running no, that's not what that is old. But the game is available for PC and Mac and on Steam and Web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. For more information, check out idlechampions.com. There will likely be some kind of seasonal event running, so please go check that out. You can usually get cool skins, new characters, all sorts of things. So well worth it.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy is Rhiannon Held and space opera is RZ Held. In my day job, I'm a professional archaeologist. Nothing to do with anything, but it's interesting. And I have two other partners to tell you about. Both make dice. North Foundry makes metal dice. When you roll them, it feels you are skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and gaming accessories at northfoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials for their dice. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Henderson, author of the Fin Fantasy trilogy and other things, and check out our Discord.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, usually in the chat as one of your mods under the handle Rumpus Imperator. And yeah, that's about all I've got this week. Chris, over to you.
It's a slight week for the end of the lineup. All right, welcome all. I am Chris, your fearless dungeon master, or your dungeon master in any event. And when last we left our heroes, they had wandered into the Purple Lady, which is a fest hall of some note located in the town of Westgate. And the Purple Lady that they wandered into is not the one that they were used to being involved with 100 years in the future, but a bit of a darker Purple Lady. And they did so in pursuit of a lead for information on the potential whereabouts of Gedrin Falavar, the future Shadowbane. And they were expecting to run into someone who Eric knows extremely well. And it looks as though they have. And so by way of a quick recap, when last we left our heroes, the party, while originally being split up a bit when they came in, were just sort of serendipitously back together again in the hallway and a room on the second floor of the Purple Lady. In Arita, as she's going by these days, room was Eric and Allie. The way I pictured that in my mind's eye was Eric had just opened the door. Allie was just about to go around Eric, but was presently on the backside of the 6'7" Eric. 6'7", right, Eric? I'm not getting that wrong.
Correct.
Okay, there you go.
No, that's correct.
Okay, 6'7" Eric. And Arita was back there as well. Out in the hallway is basically the whole rest of the group plus Finnan. Finnan is the halfling bard / priest of finder who has been accompanying you and sort of your resident local guide and expert. I think at the front of that assemblage was Rhiannon, because she had been leading the charge to come up here and figure out what the heck was going on the second floor of this building. If I recall correctly, Rhiannon, you were attempting to get the attention of a few people that were busy doing other things at the landing. And then you all just sort of settled on this door, and lo and behold, in a Price is Right fashion, you picked the right one to select. And so That is where we will pick up. I imagine that both sides of the door being opened will be somewhat startled that other people will be on the other side of it. The first thing that will happen is that Arita will, in a sort of fast and furious whisper, say to you, Allie, Kashi, you must herd your friends back downstairs before our hosts start wondering where they went. They should not be up here. I'll join you in a trice. I need a swift word with our Avabian. So that's the first thing that will happen after that door opens.
Okay.
Allie, what would you like to do having heard that?
I'll just kind of I'll glance over and just kind of nod slightly. I think I can handle that.
Okay.
And then I will kind of try to weave my way out to the others.
Plunge
We
out into
should
the
all-
hallway.
Yeah. Good to see everybody. We should all head back downstairs.
All right. So that you will move around Eric in the doorway, move in front of Rhiannon and say that. Rhiannon, you were probably about to say something, but were briefly startled by the appearance of Eric in the doorway. Allie will maneuver around Eric and sputter that out, right? You'll get a chance to say something in immediate response to that. Eric, you also might be thinking about saying something, but you see Allie go around you, and then you feel at the base of your spine a pressure. It's the tip of something. It might be that stiletto that was sticking in the table a couple moments ago. So if you want to say something there, go ahead. You may now talk to each other.
Well,
Rhiannon, you're looking well.
I mean, yes, downstairs leaving, good. I don't know that downstairs is necessarily going to be the easiest way to do that, but come on anyway.
Well, Amara just finished up with our friend, and I
stiletto is poking you in the back, and the person wielding it will say, "Close the door, Uncle. We need to talk."
I'll be right down.
You can, Eric, if you want to attempt to communicate. I'm trying to think of, there were people that were taken prisoner by the North Vietnamese, and they were placed on television, and they were blinking to try to send a signal. If you want to attempt to communicate with the party that something's up, you can. Just tell me how you do it with your eyes.
Is it a 30 days of night situation?
Tell me what that means. I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
me asking
Yeah.
that to Rhiannon.
I will say there are many friends of Bram Stoker around here.
Well,
Yeah.
I enjoy them.
Okay.
I'll be right down.
Well, yeah. And I will say, yeah, we should get back down to our table, I think. And I'll hold up the bottle of
You do still have that.
Yeah, I'll hold up that bottle of Elverquist, I think it was.
That is correct.
And I'll just be like, I've got drinks. We really should get down there before people notice we're missing.
All right. So that's sort of the conversation in the hallway. Rhiannon, I imagine you're a little bit frustrated at that, right? Because you came up here to accomplish something. Well, your friend's frustrated about that too. And so in your head, we came here to stop playing games.
Shoot. So I think, so definitely like first, Allie, I'm sorry, but like, whose fault is it that like we're up here? You go ahead, and I will try to open the door again on Eric.
Okay, I'll get to you trying to do that in a moment.
I will at that point then start to like, all right, you've got this. Like,
It's
I'll look at
finally
the
time
other
to
two,
cast
though,
that first
like,
spell.
Am I going down by myself? Because I'll start like making my way down that way.
Finnan will follow you and put his arm in your arm, Randy.
Okay.
I think splitting up is probably a pretty bad idea. I mean, considering what's down there. Now that we know
The closest we play it to cool, the better this is going to go.
And Finnan will whisper in your ear, Randy, bringing you down a little bit to his level so that you can hear that as you are moving down the hallway. I think he kind of did that with his arm to get you to a place where he could talk to you alone. Lad, if that tapestry we passed and the choice of decorative colors of this place have it right, this fest hall, rather than being dedicated to Charesse as most are, is instead consecrated to the Lady of Loss. And this being Midsummer's Night, we can expect her faithful to have some plan afoot to spread wickedness and suffering to prove that she reigns supreme, even at the absolute nadir of her strength. You're at the end of the hallway by the time he finishes that speech. Allie, you're at the end of the hallway trying to...
Okay.
If Rhiannon is staying at the door, I am staying with her.
Okay, so the party is
nobody's by
presently...
themselves in the
The
hallway.
party is presently in 3 spots. Go ahead, Randy. Did you want to say something in by response, and then I'll go back to first Eric.
So
and
that
then
gives a
Rhiannon.
different meaning to purple lady, I guess. Okay. I will say, hey guys and gals and friends. You remember that place that had the load-bearing statue and the people who kind of occupied that sort of space? I think we're dealing with a similar situation here.
The emo one?
The emo one.
There is one
the
thing
great emo one.
There is one thing I didn't remind you about when we were doing our little pregame chat. Remember, you can touch flesh and communicate here instead of having to use out loud communication. So I'm going to presume that you have already been doing that when you're standing close to each other. So right now, Rhiannon and Joel can do that. And right now, Allie and Randy can do that. Remember, Finnan's not in on that parade, nor is Eric.
And Eric, okay, yeah, Eric can't do it.
Correct. Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's what you guys said down at the, or Guy and Gal said down at the end of the hallway. And now I'm going to go to Rhiannon. So there's a closed door in front of you, which was rather solidly shut. What's your strategy?
Well, I mean, first see if it's locked.
Try to determine if it is locked. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Hold that thought for a second. So, Eric, you meanwhile are on the opposite side of that door. When the door closes and your friends start engaging in debate out in the hallway, and some of them are moving away and some of them aren't moving away, she'll withdraw the tip of the stiletto from your back and move around to the front of you, sort of getting you to spin away from the door so that she's the door and you're... Are you okay with that, being moved away from that door?
If you want them to go, you should let me communicate with them.
Fine. Make it quick.
Can I just...
Okay. So the door is locked, but hey, guess what? In the second instance of ridiculous timing, you're trying to figure it out and it opens up again.
So,
she'll
there's a
frustration from behind you, Eric. Please speed this along. All of our lives.
It sounds like we're partying from dusk till dawn. So
yes,
you should do so safely. And as soon as I am done with this lovely lady here, I will be right down to join you. Don't wait up, however.
Will you,
Are you saying we should leave you? Ooh.
I mean, I have no idea of her appetites. This is only...
He'll be down in a trice, as will I. We simply have to resolve a matter first.
Probably.
You could resolve it outside.
No, we
Yon,
can't.
yeah, Yon lady is unfortunately very cryptic, as I think you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So
And whose fault is that? But,
fine.
okay.
This guy who's got 2 thumbs. Yes, Rhiannon, trust me. I haven't done a lot to earn that trust, but I'm trying to do everything to help everybody.
Seriously, he wants us to trust him.
So I'm thinking of doing something stupid.
Well, that all depends on the definition of the word stupid now, doesn't it? Tell me what your thoughts are.
Actually, no, I think if anybody needs to know that I'm about to do something stupid, it's Joel. So I'm going to go for the like fingertips on wrist kind
Gotcha.
of like,
Okay.
hey, let's communicate. So to you, Joel, I'm going to say, I'm going to try to shake up Illyra. I don't know how well I can do it. You feel free to jump in because you have more knowledge than I do. But I don't think we should just leave him.
So that's to Joel, not to the voice in your
Yes,
head.
to Joel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will. Okay. That I will back up whatever you're doing.
All right. So Eric, could you roll a 20-sided die to see if you can notice they're conspiring?
Great. Don't forget what she did to your sister that one time.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes. So she's going to push past you and
Rolled a
close the door.
4.
That's good enough to have noticed that there was pausing and eyes traded, and you'll make that statement. If no one's stopping her, she will push right past you, Eric, and shut that door.
I mean, so I'm going to try to speak to her before, and I mean, I guess I can just raise my voice and speak through the door as necessary.
You can get a sentence off before it's closed, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Illyra, you may find we have more knowledge than you realize, especially about certain allies of yours.
That's back in your back again, Eric. Close the door. That was a command. That wasn't polite or friendly in any way.
Thank you, Rhiannon. I shall be with you anon.
Okay. Why didn't we use fire?
Because I didn't want to go straight for the fight. Because there's
Very
2
well.
of us.
Plus, Eric
Okay.
would have been in the black. Well, never mind. I didn't hear that.
So now I've got to cycle
Burning
back.
hands.
I've got to cycle back through you all again. All right. So Allie and Randy and Finnan. Oh my. You're at the top of the stairs. You saw the pushing and the door shoving, and heard some whispered remarks at the end of the hallway. So there's stuff going on down there, but the door is now shut again. The people, the 6 or so individuals that are on this landing, don't care what you're doing or what you're saying. They're busy. So really, you're sort of on your own up here, but do you want to move forward towards Randy, or excuse me, towards Joel and Rhiannon, or do you want to wait for them to come to you?
I can't hear you.
Oh.
I was muted.
Okay.
It's always somebody. Anyway, my impulse is to try to, since it seems imperative that we do so, is to probably try to get back down to our table.
Okay. So beckon them forward and then go.
Yeah, just like I'll start like moving back down to the table.
Randy, yes, no?
Sure. I will follow Ellie's lead, and I will start softly singing, "You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down." And start, because it takes 3 rounds in order of singing before I can
That's correct,
use
yeah.
bardic inspiration to protect someone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start now.
That's a good moment, a good opportunity to do just that. All right, excellent.
Just start
Thank
singing
you.
softly to myself. Yeah.
All right. So Joel and Rhiannon, you've had your conversation with Eric. Have we done all the good we can do here?
I mean, it's still through the communication bond, Joel.
Mhm.
I mean, burning hands through the door? Like, are we at that point? I don't want to be at that point, but
I uh, I don't think fighting our way out is really an option unless we're going out
that's
her window. So
what I thought. So,
I think we're gonna have to let this one play out. So
I mean, because Eric did say to leave. Like, I don't really trust him to
And
read
he
the
didn't-
situation right, but
he didn't blink
Wisdom.
SOS at us, but
Wisdom.
he's also got he can also summon Vindicator if he needs to. So
oh, that's true. All right,
So I think-
let's go.
let's head out.
All right. As you're saying that, you'll see the backs of your friends descending the stairs. Randy, probably the last one looking back in your general direction. So they're going to get to the bottom of those stairs before you do. Meanwhile, in the room, Eric, you've got a different situation. We went from playful to agitated in 0 to 60 seconds. Elric, who are you really? Why did you seek me out? Though you're clearly a Thalavar bastard or wearing the shape of one, I doubt very much this is simply about the life of one seemingly meaningless boy. Is this Thalavar justice finally come to revenge what befell Briar lo those many moons ago? Because that was not my fault.
I know that wasn't your fault.
Do you?
And no. Oh, yes, I do. Very few things that are blamed upon you are literally your fault. May have contributed, but you were simply trying to survive. You were a born survivor. You always have been.
You seem to know an awful lot about me for someone here after a boy. You've done your research, Elric. You sought out a past associate, used magic, faith, a horror, to transform some kind-hearted innocent into a form rather strikingly resembling my own.
That was entirely her own choice. She is also infatuated with you. I hope you know that. It probably was very clear.
You even borrowed my armor to help bait the trap. And the way you look at me...
Again, her choice.
So you're just going to blame that all on her, then?
Oh, yes. Not everything that happens is your fault. Some of it is her fault.
I'll keep that in mind. But, again, you haven't explained this. The way you look at me, like you know me, like you've seen me somewhere before, like you want me, but you're embarrassed that is so. At first I believed her when she said you were a stiff-necked paladin and that your vows to your god and your beloved kept you from my bed. But now, and you'll see that her gaze will soften a little bit, sort of the intensity in her voice will drop slightly, almost as if she's sort of remembering something from the past. The last man who looked at me the way you do, like I'm a child, lost in the dark of the forest at night, surrounded by wolves. Who are you? What game are you playing?
Well, I'm certainly not that man, and I'm glad that you were well quit of him. He has also damaged my friend. That's why she was so untrustworthy, or untrusting, rather. It is a long story.
We don't have time for a long story, Elric.
Exactly. I have not done research upon you exactly. I know you from... You're exactly how I pictured you. That's the thing.
She'll smirk
And
when you say that.
It's really quite a credit to, well, that is also a long story.
Don't pat yourself on the back too hard.
Not a credit to me. We are in danger. I have sworn an oath to Helm.
We're in danger. Thank you for that information.
You're right. I have sworn an oath to Helm to protect this boy. Tell me where he is, and I shall tell you everything I know about you and whatever I can to help you.
So you're here to help me then, out of the goodness of your heart?
No, I'm here to help the boy. But I will help you to help him.
The boy is safe for the moment. He's alive because of me. He'll stay where he's at least until the morning. But for you to get him, you have to help me. And helping me is helping me out of here, especially now that the trouble you've been causing is afoot.
Can you dance through the shadows yet?
You'll just say that.
I'll just ask her that.
I'm so sad I'm not here for that.
Stiletto's back out again. It was tucked away. Now it's back out in the open.
I'm just asking for logistical purposes.
For logistical purposes. Who,
right.
Are you an agent
you could tell
of the trickster? Is that who put you in my path? You don't strike me as a simple follower of the God of Guardians.
I don't intend to strike you at all, and I am not a simple servant of the God of Guardians.
Well, let's consider how I planned to use the word simple in that sentence before you answer it that way. She'll smirk at you again. You're at least proving entertaining for her, Eric, so that's a plus. Hold that thought,
It's
however.
Intentional.
Our friends on the way back downstairs are on the way back downstairs. Okay, so those of you getting to the top of the stairs, you're headed down them. As you're coming down the stairs, you'll encounter a man, late 30s, early 40s, somewhat wealthy looking. Hey, Joel, excuse me, Randy, because you're at the front. You've seen this guy before when Finnan was holding your hand. That's not a person. That's a vampire. And it seems to be in position sort of at the end of the stairs, almost as if it's trying to keep people from going from the first floor to the second floor inadvertently.
Like facing up the stairs or down? Like, is he trying to keep people from coming down or coming up?
Kind of keep people from coming up, but when there's footsteps on the stairs from behind him, he'll certainly turn around in that general direction to see the three of you. Anybody have anything for this? You're in the lead, Allie.
I was.
Pardon. We were just trying to get back to our table.
Eyebrow goes up at that. Were you going to say something, Randy?
No, that's fine. I'm curious why I was going to try and touch Allie and say, why are we going into the middle of all of the vampires again instead of a defensible position? But I don't think I can do that. Can I reach her? Or...
You could probably do that.
I'll touch her and just think that at her.
The vampire in question is pondering your response, Allie, kind of looking you up and down. And while the gears are sort of whirring along, Finnan will say, like, trying to move past the vampire, excuse me, but I need a drink after all that exercise. And the vampire actually seems to find that funny. I guess Finnan's an entertaining fellow. And we'll laugh and stand aside.
Yeah.
So really, it's up to you.
Yeah. So you do that, though, with the hand on the shoulder?
Yeah, I'll just kind of like put my hand over your shoulder like we're all just happily coming down from having fun. And
yeah. I got the impression from Illyra that if we don't come back down, it's going to cause more problems than if we didn't. Or if we did than if we did.
All right.
It sounds like the less suspicion we draw on ourselves, the better right now.
Okay.
And then I will.
Yes,
kind of
I could definitely wet my tongue after all that exercise. Let's go.
Okay. So the back end
like
of
she'll mutter, phrasing, Randy, phrasing. She'll head for the table.
The back end of the party will catch up with the front end of the party at that point. So Joel, Randy, you guys are all sort of now together headed towards the table. Do you, Joel, have a different plan other than going with everybody to the table?
Follow in their wake and just try to follow in their wake and act like we're probably leaving the same party.
Okay. I can tell you that the room you've returned to is even darker than the room that you left. There's no acts left on the stage. There's no one performing music in here. They're all just doing what they're doing all over this room. And your table and the food on it is still untouched. So you'll move over to it and grimly sit down. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
back upstairs. Go ahead, Eric. I believe you were the one who was about to say a thing. Oh, you'd asked a question. Can you repeat it for me? Can you shadow?
Can you dance through the shadows yet? That yet is very important.
Mm-hmm. Again, regardless of whose shape you're wearing, you expect me to believe, knowing that about me, that you're just someone here to help.
I take that as a yes.
Smile,
And you haven't
possibly confirming that fact.
And has Ildar taught you any magic? Probably not.
And those are eyes narrowing. Who are you, Elric? Someone that I know from my past?
We have never met.
So then who have you met who knows me so terribly well?
Look, I told you it was a long story. You told me there was no time for a long story. I haven't met anyone who knows you incredibly well, except for that lass who decided that she wanted to look like you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I believe you when I say that that was entirely her choice. You strike me as more of a manipulator than you let on, Elric.
I suppose that's a fair assessment on your part, but the question still stands. Can you dance through the shadows yet? Because that would assist us in escaping. I am going to walk over as I ask that and try those shutters, because I know there's a shuttered window.
You will try the shuttered window. I don't know that it would assist us in escaping. Oh, and if it were as simple as that, you'll open the shutters and discover that the shutters are barred fairly tightly, like 6-inch bars, right?
Okay, so you could escape through here.
Again, if it were as simple as that, I'd have done it already.
So
all our windows are bars, barred and warded, but it's not that. These aren't the kind of people, Elric, who let you just skulk away into the night. They own the night. So one way or another, Arita, gesturing to herself, dies tonight. That's the only way out.
Fair enough.
Oh, suddenly you agree?
What's your suggestion then?
Finally, a question that matters. I believe, just as you believe, Elric, that our patrons have set us into each other's path for purpose. I think we both agree that you're here to rescue more than just that boy. You're here to rescue me. Isn't that true, Father? You got a response to that?
If it's on the way, sure.
So that's just, I'm going to try to have a flat affect to the fact that she just accused you of being her father.
Yes.
Could you roll 2 10-sided dice for me?
He had a pretty good poker face.
Are you here to rescue me? Well, if it's on the menu.
Aren't you short for a stormtrooper?
Yeah, aren't you kind of short for a stormtrooper? What did you roll there?
Do you want is this
2 10-sided dice added
percentile?
together, possibly with me adding or subtracting something from it. This is 2 10-sided dice.
In that case, I got a 16.
Okay, so that's a good number. Yeah, that's the way you look at me, Elric. Like a father seeing his last grown to her beauty and power, filled with frustration and pride.
Oh,
I know not
halfway there.
You are endlessly amusing, and I don't know why nor what your true form is, but I don't care. For at least in one way, I am what you see me as, a maid in need of rescue, in desperate danger in the dark, surrounded by monsters. Will you help me, Papa?
I'm going to have to.
I'm just a girl in front of a boy.
I'm going to have to tell you who your real father is then at some point. But for now, yes, I will help you.
Good. That's the first smart thing you've said tonight. And on that note, back downstairs for a moment. So you'll sit back down at the table, and Finnan, looking around the room at this debauchery underway, will say to you all, stay close. Don't make eye contact with anyone. And he whispers to you conspiratorially, hopefully Elric will be quick, and we can get gone from here before the dragon's mouth begins chewing. But if we need to fight our way out, I'll try to hold them at bay while you clear the door. But let's pray it doesn't come to that. Anyone have anything to say back to Finnan?
Perhaps we should pick up our food and drink and decide to seat ourselves closer to the door.
What
That
are you
will be your
afraid is going
response?
to happen?
Are you asking Finnan or are you asking
Finnan.
Rhiannon?
What does he think is going to happen that we should be watching for?
Look around the room, lad. So
But then why are we down here?
I'm not the one who chose to send us down here. So you'll look around the room. There are, as I said, a dozen to a dozen and a half or so 40 to 50-year-old men and women, mostly men, around the room. In the phrase I used for the second floor was in flagrante delicto, with double to triple that number of younger, and that's late teens, early 20s, men and women. As I said, no more music, no more acts on the stage. The bartender's present, watching the room like a spider sitting at the center of his web. He's got that happy look on his face again. Perhaps that's something to do with the moniker. The purple ladies are all gone from here.
I believe that the term actually is infang grotto delicto. But
There we are. There we are.
Well, I think at this point I'll have collected the likely still full glass that I had left behind, and after giving a bit of a glance around, there's some kind of plan. That's all I know.
Well,
You know
I'm
who
still
she
softly
is. You know we
singing.
can't trust her.
I know that, but look, I will reach out and I will just like lay a hand, kind of try to drape my arm over Joel's shoulder if I can. Listen.
Is that now we're going internally?
We're going,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
We're going internally.
Pause that for a moment. Pause that
Okay.
for a moment, because Rhiannon, is there a reason they're ignoring you when you're the smartest person in this room?
It's better to work as a group than, and so I'm starting to worry about your motives, honestly.
This place
Cooperation is
is
better than.
disgusting. This place needs the cleansing power of fire, and we are simply sitting here waiting to be devoured. Those are my motivations. Our job is to protect those babes. Where are they? Back at the house. What good are we doing them here?
I was going to touch.
So-
Go ahead.
Well, so one last thing to the voice. So knowing this magic better than I do, can you promise me that I could get us out the door before I'm overwhelmed?
Yes. We can get close enough to it. There will be no door, nor anything between you and it.
Oh my.
And on that note, so Allie, you were draping your arm over Joel and giving some internal dialogue.
Yes. I know we can't trust her, but she wants out of here as much as we do.
So she's asking us to get her out?
Yes.
Oh,
She's asking us
okay.
to get her out of here.
Is there a plan? Can we try to make contact between the four of us around the table?
Absolutely. You guys
Yeah,
you're
let's
huddled,
do
you're huddled
that.
in. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, as far as I know.
I was.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay. I'm trusting there is one. She seemed to believe that it was going to cause problems if we all clustered upstairs for too long. If they I'm choosing
So-
to trust in the moment because this suits her needs as much as it suits ours.
I like Rhiannon's idea of getting as close to the door as possible. I think when they come down, we kind of just join them in a natural motion toward the door. Worst case, I can try and summon the shield to protect us either from them, or if Rhiannon wants to let loose with the fire, protect us from the fire as this last resort if we need to protect ourselves from it. And then
I mean, I'm reading this as we're past that. So I mean, I think the best we could manage is make our way over the door, wait to see Eric on the stairs, and then we get the hell out, and Eric and Illyra use the distraction. And they're on their own with that.
Now, question for the DM.
Yes.
Remind me, guards have moved to the inside of the doors now, like they're preventing
Yes.
people from leaving.
As you're talking about the doors, you're looking over in the direction of the doors. There is a table that's about 11 feet from the doors that is presently unoccupied. If you'd like to sort of like head over in that to that place as
Yes.
opposed to this one. So
Yeah.
does that mean, Rhiannon, that you're just going to get up and start going there? Because the last time you did that, people followed.
Well, I mean, so I'm not gonna like walk like I have a purpose.
Right.
The food, get a plate, eat something off it as I go.
Could you please roll a 20-sided die for me?
Okay. 20.
Oh,
That's
okay.
bad. So.
Nothing whatsoever to add to that. Please go ahead. Yes. Eat something off it as you go.
Oh, this is gonna go badly. Yep.
Yep. I will get up and move, take a drink from my glass, take the bottle with me.
So we're all just sort of casually relocating over to the table near the door.
Yeah.
So,
I
okay.
mean, make it
I'll
look
throw my
natural,
arm around Finnan and like kind of toss
Stagger
his
to
hair a
lean into
bit
each
and-
other a little
Yeah.
bit. And okay.
Yeah, I'll plop down, kick my feet up.
So as I was saying about that area around the front door, so what you've got there is you've got these two gigantic Eric, tall as Eric, but broader fighters. I mean, they're probably fighters, right? Just blocking that door. It's a wooden, iron reinforced door, big door, but obscured by these two individuals. And nearby-ish, there are other tables with people doing things. The closest to the door of your pointy fanged friends is a woman who is at a table about 8 feet away from the door. So probably could get in your path between the 11-foot and the table and the door if she needed to. But those bruisers are predominantly what stops you from getting through that door. You will all relocate to that table. Go ahead. Did you have something, Joel, before I went back upstairs?
I was just going to ask, are there any other people at the table with the female vampire?
Oh, yes, there are. Oh, geez.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, there is a man, teenager, who is passed out, just laying face down on the table. I don't know if he's still alive. And then there is a woman who's in a stupor, sort of slumped up against the wall, and the woman has her left arm languidly draped across her. You did ask who was at the table.
Okay, we'll just. That's good.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so on that note, we will go back upstairs to the second floor. So, Eric, resume.
So what was your plan to escape if we didn't arrive?
Well, I didn't really have a plan to escape before you arrived, but in my experience, these things just sort of work out for me.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm sticking close to you and hoping that the coin comes up heads.
She'll laugh at that. So, is it really Helm, or is it the trickster that you worship? I mean, you don't have to answer me, and I assume you'll be lying to me anyway, but...
I summon the sword.
Oh, okay. Now he's getting fancy. So,
It's really help.
so you'll just put your hand out and Vindicator will appear in it. Okay. She'll step back when you do that because you did just summon a weapon into your hand. And she'll look at you and she'll look at it and she'll say, you know, there's some chance you might just make it out of here alive.
I shall take that as a great compliment coming from the embodiment of, well, you.
I really want to know, Papa, what I'm the embodiment of, but I suppose that's a conversation for another time. Well,
It
Papa,
is.
will you free me?
as delicious as this is to tell you, I can't tell you what my plan is. You're just going to have to trust me. Oh, and trust in your God and that sword to protect you in the same way my patron just won't seem to let me die. Are
You
you,
are still wearing the amulet, right?
you can see it tight around her neck in a gorget.
I know, I just say that to her intentionally. Okay. Don't
You
lose
know,
that.
I
You know that,
really
though.
want to peel you open to find out what's inside you. You aren't,
Well,
and she just adopts a wary posture. You need to tell me you're not with him.
I am not with Lilton, no.
I haven't seen Lilton in some time. I need you to
As
tell
well.
me that you're not with the person who's in the basement, Elric. Depending upon how you answer this question, you're about to get attacked or not. Just to let you know that.
I am not with him.
Well, I suppose we'll find out the answer to that question in short order. Well, time to go. Oh, Elric, tell my Kath she, when the time comes, and she'll know when, to say Genhawar Sahan. Could you repeat that for me?
I could, yes.
A clever boy. I knew you were a clever boy. Very well, Papa. Lead the way.
All right. How about you go first?
Do you really think at this point I'd let that trap disable you when you were my ticket out of here?
No, I just happen to like your backside more.
If you really liked my backside, and she will actually go by you as you say this, you would have taken the opportunity that you had earlier to enjoy it. And the door
Tell
is
yourself
opening.
what you like.
All right, so the door is opening. You are now leaving the room. Do you want to look back, do anything before you step out of this place forever?
Are there any useful items that I might have spotted in the room, like other weapons or like flammable things or
Roll a 20-sided die for me, Eric.
okay. That's a 5.
All right. There were no weapons whatsoever on display, with the exception of the stiletto, which was bunk hammered into the table. That's now hidden on her person someplace. I did tell you that there were 3 stout chests and a dresser that was big enough to hide a body in. So who knows what could be in any of those things. There's a bit of jewelry. It could be somewhat expensive, but not wildly so. Sitting on the sort of table, dressing table. There's
If she left it, we're gonna
yeah,
assume that it's not all that valuable.
yeah, and you know, funny enough, your brooch is still there. Remember the one you put on the table? The
Yeah,
coin pouch is gone.
I take the brooch.
All right, so you'll reach over with your very long wingspan arms and snatch that up off of the table. Do you wish to tuck it into a pocket or stick it onto your person, or what do you want to do with that thing?
Yeah, I'll put it into a pocket. Is there an oil lamp of some kind? I
Wait.
assume that the room was lit in some way.
There was. I'll tell you about that in a second. I told you when you first walked in, but I'll remind you about it. Before you do that, however, I need you to roll a 20-sided die for me.
Mm-hmm. That would be a 13.
All right. As you're tucking that brooch into a pocket, you'll remember that if you expect a magic item to work, you have to wear it. In other words, if you're hoping to benefit from its protection, just having it on your person but not in the place that it's supposed to be will not guarantee that it will actually function. Now, that may not be relevant to you, but I'm just giving it to you because your brain knows.
I appreciate that. I just don't have full enough time to equip it while I'm just leaving the room.
Gotcha.
So,
okay, entirely fair. Yes, the oil lamp is a combination scented oil, and it is actually hanging from the ceiling above the bed, and it provides dim light for the room, and also sort of this pleasant, almost like a jasmine scent that pervades this room. The only way to take it down would be to literally go up there and try to yank it off. I mean, you're a tall fellow, you could do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how high is the ceiling?
Ceiling in this room is probably 9 feet tall.
Okay, great. I cut the lamp in half with Vindicator.
Okay, so to be clear, she is now a few steps out ahead of you in the hallway because you tarried to both grab that thing off the table and now to turn and take a swipe at the lamp. Okay. I presume what you're attempting to do is create fire. Is that a correct statement, Eric? Okay.
That is a correct statement.
Could you roll a 20-sided die for this attack upon a defenseless lamp?
19.
You are... I think perhaps we need to add Lamp Slayer to your title because that, my friend, is what you are. You will shatter this lamp in half, and the oil within it will dribble onto the floor and start a small fire. It's not that much oil, and it's going to take a while, but if you just let it burn.
Wasn't it above the bed?
It was. So you're saying, would it drop onto the bed? Answer to that question, you hit it with a 19, so I sort of presumed it flew. But if you really wanted it to land on the bed, you hit it with a 19. So you can kind of put it where you want.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
All right. You are burning the bed. Noted, Eric. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, you'll step out into the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you wish to close the door behind you?
No.
Okay, you wish to leave the door behind you open. All right, noted. All right, so you are going down the stairs, back down the stairs where everyone is there. You all have relocated to this table that is now closer to the door. You are having an internal conversation. Anything more important that you need to talk about in connection with that before people just start arriving from the second floor? I'm seeing no. To that statement.
Still quietly singing.
Okay.
I did have one thing I wanted to do.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to kind of focus inward, and I know I'm not asleep right now, but it's late at night, and I'm hoping I can get something. I'm going to go, I don't suppose, oh friend of mine, if you have anything that you might be able to do to help me get us out of this situation.
Could you roll a 20-sided die for me, Alec?
Yes, I can. That's a 19.
No response from the voice inside your head. Okay, so Eric, you're coming down the stairs. Got a big piece of metal in your hand. Is that a thing you want to kind of put at your waist so it doesn't look like you're waving it around? Or are you a madman down from the second floor waving a sword around? What's our strategy here? I'm not sure she'd appreciate that. I don't know if that's her plan.
Well, how'd she react to me setting the building on fire?
She either didn't notice or didn't care.
Cool. Yeah, I just leaned the sword against my shoulder.
Okay, so this is I have a sword, but I'm not swinging it at you right now.
I have a sword, but I'm swording casually.
Swording casually. All right. You will sword casually your way down the stairs. You'll note that when she's reaching the bottom of the stairs, that there is a gentleman at the bottom of the stairs that's sort of blocking the first floor from the second floor. That person will give way for her coming by and glance up at you, glance down at her. She'll wave, and they'll pay you no mind.
Great.
You are now out in the main room. Hey, everybody. It's Arita and Eric. Eric has a sword he didn't have a short while ago because nobody saw him with that, and except when he was back at Briar House. They've just arrived from the second floor. They seem to have gotten past the vampire sentry with no trouble. Arita will give you a slap on the ass, Eric, while you're looking around the room to figure out where your friends are because they're not at the table that you left them at, and say, "I'll be with you in a moment, lover," jingling the coin pouch and heading over towards the bar. What do you wish to do, Eric?
I look around for my companions.
They're
Wave
attempting to
them
get
down.
you.
Yeah.
There's waving going like over here, man. Come on.
Good,
I'm-
because
I'm
I was
sitting
going
there
to
with
roll
my
one of these,
glass
and you
and
never
my-
know what's going to happen.
I was
Anything.
sitting there with my glass and my feet kicked up on the edge of the table, just kind of
I head over
relaxing.
toward them.
Okay, very well. So you all see Eric coming over in your general direction. Good news. Nobody has anything before he arrives.
Nope.
Everyone who isn't Eric, please roll a 20-sided die for me.
Okay.
4.
3.
Yeah.
If you guys say 2-1, I'm going to be spooked out.
No.
10.
5 for me.
Okay. And 10. All right. You're mostly focusing on the door, right? Because that's what you're thinking. Through door lies freedom, right? However, those rolling a 3 and a 4 will also notice what's going on with Eric and Arita. She's headed over to the bar where she's, tossing the full pouch of coin that was given to her upstairs on the bar and chatting to the bartender. Eric is headed over in your general direction. Okay? Okay. And Eric arrives. Eric, your friends. They're seated around a table. Do you wish to join them? While casually sorting?
I do.
Okay. So Eric will sit down.
Good to see you, none the worse for wear.
It looks a little worse for wear.
A bit of psychic damage, but otherwise unharmed.
So
I
can we
trust
go
you've
now?
been following Rhiannon's instructions.
He
She
trusts.
is our leader, after all.
They've been following. Oh, now you're their leader.
Is that how that works?
It is how that works. Was I not clear about this before? Let me be clear. Rhiannon is our leader.
I don't know if I want the responsibility for you
All right.
clowns.
Well,
right.
she's the one who's clearest headed right now. So she's in
I'm
charge at the moment.
perfectly clear-headed. I don't know what you're talking about.
I point over toward the bar.
Oh,
And
she's
I
on her
give
way.
Allie
She's
like
on
a
her way back to you
sort
from
of
the
look.
bar. Okay.
All
So-
right. Well, let's assemble ourselves and sort of
Avengers assemble.
wander towards the
Or-
door
well-
and see
well-
when somebody starts to stop us. Yeah, Joel?
Well, I was going to say if we wanted to establish the link again, and I'll say to Eric first, hey,
Well,
we'll
we
clue you
can't-
in
we
a
can't
second.
talk to him.
me.
You can't
Right,
hear it.
I'm saying out loud to Eric, we'll clue you in a second. But getting the link going and saying, okay, so if we want to get Illyra out of here, maybe the plan is we get her standing between us and the door.
All right. So
And then
stop
she shadowed-
right there
She
for a
shadow
second.
dances out right before Rhiannon casts her spell, and then it looks like she's dead and vaporized.
So stop for a second there. So you're saying, okay, if we want to get Arita out of here, is where you were with your plan.
We know her as Illyra.
And you're saying to Eric, hang on a second, we'll fill you in, because they're clearly talking to each other. And you're getting up. This is sort of like, because Rhiannon stood up, and she's in charge here. So I assume that
He could mean that they're going to fill me in on what I missed while I was upstairs.
he could mean
Which was
any number of
nothing.
things. Okay. And there were important things happening downstairs, Eric. They were in the
Lots
basement.
of
They did all kinds of
Vampire
things.
orgy. I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, so as indicated previously, so you're sort of half the party standing up because Rhiannon got up, so a couple people at least got up. Eric, maybe not necessarily doing that, and here she comes across the room to you, and she'll call out as Joel is at about that moment in his internal monologue. Hello, lover. Rested for another round and move to embrace you.
Refractory period, daughter.
Oh, I will
Oh.
visit the fridge.
Remember on our last episode where I said, Eric, that frequently I think to myself, has this choice of words ever been placed in a sentence in English before?
Hopefully not.
I hope to God that they never have, and that they never do again. So anyway, you will say that. She will move to like embrace you, like pull you up from the chair, and like she's trying to talk to you, right? Trying to get to your ear to say something. Rhiannon, you're up, and you've taken at least a couple of steps towards the front door. Like, where are these? What are these people? Why are they not? And so you'll notice when you do that, that the vampire woman who was seated at that table stepped up when she saw you were headed and is calmly intercepted in between. So now you've got two hulking bruisers who are looking at you because you're headed towards the door. And this vampire woman who's standing between the two hulking bruisers, she looks like she's in her, like I said, late 30s, early 40s, has this sort of alien beauty to her, dark hair, pale skin, maybe a little bit of blood in the corner of her mouth because it's not like she wasn't just eating. And she's looking at you like, please try to go through me. That's what you're looking at right there, right? Who else immediately got up to follow Rhiannon? I assume Allie, no, because you were like, I'm kicked out on the table, casually relaxing.
I'm still like, I might have taken my feet down, but I'm still seated at the table.
Okay. Randy, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so Randy is up. Joel, yes or no? You were going to fill Eric in, and so far Eric is.
I was trying to establish a link with everybody.
And that went to when they were listening for a moment, and then if you want to keep trying to talk to them, I guess you got to go in Rhiannon's direction.
Yeah, gotta follow them.
Okay.
Yeah,
so here's
Rhiannon knowing what's going on is the essential part of this plan. So yes, I will get up and try to reestablish contact with her and Randy if he's also close enough.
All right, so here's kind of how I see this playing out, right? I see you have this table near the door. Eric is at this table. He's getting to his feet because she's trying to communicate and embrace him and tell him some things. Allie is, feet down off the table, but hasn't stood up yet, right? Is that a correct statement? Yeah. Maybe watching these two to see what they're up to, more so than watching the three folks that are sort of staggering towards the front door.
That is a fair assessment.
Rhiannon, out in the lead because she is in charge here, is about 6 feet away from these three people, well, two people and a monster blocking the front doors, right? The solid front doors. Trailing behind her and sort of reaching out to try to touch her from behind is Joel and Randy, sort of like roughly even with each other. And the behind them is sort of Finnan, who's caught between two lovers feeling like a fool. Like, which group of people am I? Who do I help here? They're separating again. So there's that happening. So, Eric, she gives you a kiss. This kiss is a fake kiss. She is actually play acting as she's kissing you. So, it's all mouth or all lips and no mouth. And as she's doing that, she's trying to guide your hand so that she can hand you something, right? She's trying to give you an object, but it's like low below your vision, so you can't quite see what it is. As she says something to you, whispered, so you can hear it. What she says is this: with the boy, it was the best of several bad options. He's at the docks, in the hold of the Zulkir's pride, at least until the tides go out. May our patrons watch over us. What, if anything, do you want to do or say, Eric?
Don't trust the warlock.
Okay, so that's what you'll say. Sort of like swing away, if anyone here has seen Signs. Okay, don't trust the warlock. All right.
So the moment is coming soon.
So you will say that to her. You're focused on trying to communicate this with her, right? She's placing this object into your hand. Allie, please roll a 20-sided die.
5.
Okay, you're trying to figure out what's going on between the two of them. They're whispering to each other. An object is being placed into Eric's hand. Eric will realize what the object is at the same time that you realize what the object is. And that is the hilt of the stiletto that was upstairs. You'll see the flash of silver from it. Eric, you'll just feel that rectangular thing in your hand, and you'll sort of wonder for a second why a hilt of a stiletto has just been placed in your arm. And then the hand that isn't handing it to you grabs your wrist and pulls it forward. She says quite loudly, "Help! He's shot!" And then stabs herself with your hand, falling back, bleeding freely, and collapsing to the ground. So at the door, right? You know you're facing down this vampire woman and the two bruisers, Rhiannon. You know there's something going on behind you, but you don't care about that. You're focused forward. Are you ready?
I was going to say, are you?
Always.
Time to keep your promises.
Yes. You will see a ghostly image, sort of like, you know how the new Apple device allows you to engage with the world by laying images of the world over, or things over the image of the world that you can see in front of you. So it's like a ghostly image of you, right? Placing your hands out in front of you with your thumbs crossed, but not locked. Crossed, but not locked. And your hands out like that, okay?
Yeah.
So you'll move to do that with your hands, right? Yes? Yep. Okay, you'll see the vampire react like, uh-oh.
You better run.
And at that moment is the moment when the whole, so what? Someone's yelling, shadow, and the stabbing and the falling over. The Mark doesn't care. The Mark's busy giving you instructions. However, as soon as she hits the ground, Eric, the lights go out in this place. Pitch darkness across the entire room. You'll hear screams, confusion, growling in the dark. You're just going to keep doing the stuff, Rhiannon? Is that a correct statement?
Yep.
Okay. So I know what Rhiannon's doing. I know what Eric's doing. He's going, yay, 10 out of 10.
You did it. You did it.
Okay. Joel, what are you, in the instant of it plunging into darkness in here, what are you doing?
Did my infravision kick in now?
Takes a moment. It'll probably take you the round for it to adjust, although I don't think it'll stay dark in here for long, but that's just me guessing.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. You're about to see a big, big thing with your infravision.
Yep. Get my shield out of my arm and make sure that my weapon is clear for a quick draw.
All right, so let your hands off of your companions and go for your equipment.
Pretty much.
All right, and Randy, what are you doing in that instant when the darkness drops on all of you?
I've been softly singing, and now I will sing loudly and to inspire my companions to increase their chance of any savings throws.
Excellent. All right, what are you singing? Refresh our recollection.
You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down. You're the best around. No vampire's gonna take you to the ground. You're the best. Yeah.
Is that a 90s tune or an 80s tune, Randy?
That's an 80s tune.
All right, I thought
Karate Kid.
You were right inside my wheelhouse, and God bless you for that, Randy. Okay, so Rhiannon. Oh, sorry, Allie. In the instant of it gets bloody dark in here, what are you going to do?
I'm on my feet. Like I will get to my feet.
Mm-hmm.
How long would it? Because I know I did the peace tie on my stiletto. How long would that take to undo? Fair enough. Since I can't see, I will start trying to do that. But I'm really ready to I don't know what's going on. But if I need to. Eric's got the sword. I will grab that stiletto from him if I have to.
Oh, the stiletto! The stiletto is in her.
Oh, the stiletto's still in her.
It into her.
I'm gonna leave it then.
She grabbed onto
the floor.
Yes.
Maybe
on the floor. like, I'm trusting this is part of whatever the hell she had in mind. So I'm just trying to get my weapon clear.
What I hear is trust to the plan. Trust to the plan. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
All
I
right.
don't know the plan.
She doesn't know the plan either. Don't worry.
It seems to me like there's a lot of different plans happening right here. So back to Rhiannon. These are creatures of darkness. They fear the cleansing power of fire, and so you shall feed it to them until they choke on its ash. Words aren't as important as actions, but they help to shape the magic a moment. As I rifle through your, yes, this will do nicely. Please repeat after me, with intention. Anal Nathrak. Better.
I don't understand the reference.
Oh, you don't have that in your head? You've never
No.
seen either Excalibur, the 1970s or early 80s version of Excalibur, or Ready Player One?
Nope.
Oh my lord.
Guess
Well,
so.
then I can't steal that from your mind, Rhiannon. So I'm going to therefore have to ask you, if you were going to say magic words, what would they be?
Unfortunately, like the stupid spell Latin is what I've gotten most of, and
Mhm,
I don't choose to support that series and that author who
Fair
made
enough.
it most famous.
Fair.
Fuego.
Well, what? So
And
my language in school was Spanish.
Mhm.
So why don't you go with what Infierno? I think is hell or something.
Yes.
So yeah. So go with
Okay.
that.
You'll need to just keep chanting that while the magic does its thing. Okay? Okay. So here's the point at which you all roll initiative for this round of combat. Okay? So remember that's a D10. Don't tell me what numbers you're adding to it quite yet, because that's up to me to handle. Okay, so just give me your D10. So Eric, what have you got?
3.
A 3. Okay.
4.
Rhiannon, 4. Randy.
Got an 8.
Okay. Allie?
1.
Oh, pretty fast.
Nice.
And Joel,
8 as well.
8 as well. All right. The first 2 people to do anything in this place will be Allie and Finnan. Finnan's small, and I mean that literally, and his size is actually small in terms of his modifiers. And he has pretty solid dexterity. And so when there are ties, tie goes to the person who has the better modifiers or higher dex or whatever the case may be in this case. So sort of an instant before you, right, Allie? Finnan is going to go.
Okay.
You will, before Finnan does anything, observe in the darkness as it's sort of setting in and your eyes are starting to adjust to it, hear growls and see red eyes opening all around the room. Eric, you can see through the darkness because remember, you have the mask on. So you'll be able to see. You're looking in the direction of where she was, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So her body still appears to be on the ground in a spreading pool of blood for what that's worth. Maybe that is, maybe that isn't. And all around that portion of the room, the vampires are starting to stalk forward. In other words, they push themselves out of their chairs. Their eyes are fluorescing red. There's like 18 of them in this room, Eric. It's not pretty. Oh, plus the bartender. And people are screaming and trying to stagger out of the way. It's sort of pandemonium in here. The first person, Finnan, to go, his action is to rather deftly, because little guy, high dex, hop up onto the nearest table. So basically, he was at the back of you guys, strung out between the 2 groups of you. Not that you were terribly far apart. So the nearest table for him is the one that you left behind, the one that became your secondary table. So he'll hop up onto that table, and as he does so, there'll be a sharp, rising whistle tone coming from him as he's grasping the medallion around his neck, and it will blossom forth with pale moonlight that will radiate out across the rest of the room. That'll spoil people's infravision trying to change. It's sort of like you're trying to turn on your night vision goggles, turn off your night vision goggles, turn on your night vision goggles. And
Why do
so
I
you
even
were
have this?
you were just starting to adjust to it for those instances where there isn't light. You were just starting to adjust to it when flick that came on. Great news for you, Rhiannon, because aiming is now so much easier. So that's a thing. And then again, up on the table, turns in your direction, Allie Finnan, and says in a whisper, "Run now." What do you want to do? You're next.
All right. Yeah, I will do that then. I will trust Finnan and take off. I will take off toward the door, I guess.
Okay, so you'll move in the direction of your party. You'll see that they're just a few feet away. You have two options. You can get up even with Rhiannon, or you can get in front of her. Which of those two things do you think is a better idea?
Even. I'm not going to get in front of Rhiannon.
Okay. Right.
Was I able to even get my stiletto undone in that time period?
No,
Or...
you did a great job tying it the way it was supposed to be tied. So you're yanking at it as you move. All right. Hello, everyone. We had a little technical problem there, but we are back from that technical problem only in time for us to take our first break of the evening. So let us do that now, and you may rejoin us with excitement in just a moment. And we're back. All right. So to recap, because we had our technical difficulty there, we're going through this round of what is certainly going to be combat in this room as things have gone off. And what has happened so far is that Finnan hopped up on a table, whistled out a spell that brought moonlight into the room, banishing the darkness. Rhiannon is repeating a particular word out loud while pointing her hands forward. I assume you're pointing them at the door and or people in the way of it.
Vampire.
Got it.
Door.
Okay, gotcha. Vampire first, door second.
Yes.
And so you're continuing to do that chanting, feeling this power just surging forth and building within you. It's satisfying. You've been stuck in this stupid thing where and it's really satisfying to be doing something and tapping into this as well. And so that's a thing that's happening. The alley got up rather quickly. That elven dexterity comes in handy and moved. Whoa, I better not go in front of Rhiannon. She's doing a thing. and
her hands are out like this. I am not getting anywhere near.
And she is chanting, so it's not just her hands are out like that. Okay, so Finnan will complete a statement from atop the table before the fire rushes forth from your hands, Rhiannon. He's going at 4, you're going at 5. His statement is as follows. Creatures of pain and despair, I bear the light that guides those found in darkness. See it, and no justice comes from you in this world or the next. And almost as if on cue, so Rhiannon, fire, just pure coursing flame. You'll feel at your heart above it, the mark, trigger, and there'll be a blast of ruby light, and then just roaring out of your hands is a column, like a flamethrower of fire, okay? This is more than you were expecting, to be honest. I kind of think maybe you were thinking, okay, well, like burning hands?
Yeah.
This is not burning hands. This column of flame is about, it starts at your hands, but widens out to about 5 feet, and it is, wow, it's going pretty far, and there isn't really far to go. It's orange, red, white, blue, all the colors of flame. Everyone please roll a 20-sided die except for Rhiannon.
Oh boy. 13.
Okay.
6.
7.
everybody will hear what Finnan said, see what's going on over there. But it's really hard to miss the flame roaring out of Rhiannon for the doors. So everybody will catch a glimpse of that. Anybody rolling under 10 will note that the edges of the flame itself, there's a little bit of green thrown in there. But Rhiannon, you don't pick up on that. And neither do you, Eric, because you rolled a 13. So this roaring fire will encompass the vampire, the two bruisers beyond the vampire, the door beyond the two bruisers beyond the vampire. The two humans will call out in short gasps as the fire just roars over them, but they pretty much only have time to do that before they turn to ash. Like they go up in flames and turn to ash that collapses to the ground. The vampire is a little bit more constitutious. It howls out in manifest agony as it has been lit aflame from top to toes. And it pinions around for a couple of moments, wailing before it tips over into a column of ash. The fire keeps going, and it cooks through the bolted, iron reinforced front doors. The wood of them cooks off and turns to ash, and the iron just collapses, melting as it goes. Wow, that's impressive. Iron has a pretty high melting point. And now there is a hole where that door used to be, and hungry fire from your hands is chewing up to set the wall ablaze. It's not stopping, and it's gouting out into the night. If you had to guess, that's like 60 feet of fire you're pouring out of your hands into the night. You got anything for that?
I mean, what happens when I stop chanting and like break the gesture? I'm not like pointing my hands down or anything, but like just because there's this gesture, so
okay.
Breaking it.
So what you will attempt to do is cut off your words, right? And attempt to break the. You stop talking, but this spell powers forth a gout of flame, which lasts for approximately 2 minutes. I'm afraid you've only a choice of where to point it. And then we move to 6 in the initiative order, which is Eric. Eric, well, damn. What do you got for me?
I figure Arita has got this under control. I am going to grab Allie if you're still by the table and just
No,
hold.
no. I bolted.
Whichever of my friends, is anybody near me, or is it just me by the table?
You are by the table. The only person, Finnan, is now on the table, so basically closer to the center of the room than you. The nearest PC to you would probably be Joel or Randy.
Cool. I pick up Finnan.
I
hold him pointed at them.
There's no picking up Finnan. He's in the center of the table. You can grab for him if you like, but that's going to be your action.
Finnan's got it. I head over toward Rhiannon.
He is the thing, Eric, that light that he's created, and his statement is the thing that has the vampires on that side of the room paralyzed for the moment. You grab him? Okay.
No, I won't. Let me ask you this. Are there other vampires that are not transfixed either by the light that he generated or by the fiery torrent that Rhiannon has generated?
There are 2. One on either side of the door, about 10 feet away from where the door is. I don't think anybody wants to get in between Rhiannon and the door right now, but that doesn't mean that those vampires might not vector in on you guys as you're trying to get through it.
Okay. Since we don't have a map,
where
are the other party members in relation to Rhiannon? The reason I'm asking this question, because this will clarify what I'm saying, is which way is Rhiannon probably going to turn with that fire?
Who knows? The other 2, there's 3 members of the party that are close to Rhiannon, right? Joel and Randy were right behind Rhiannon. Allie was back at the table, but then zoomed past Joel and Randy, so is now standing sort of shoulder to shoulder with Rhiannon. Left side or right side, Allie? Your choice.
I'll say right side.
On Rhiannon's right.
Yeah.
And then you're in the furthest in the back, Eric. Does that answer your question in terms of how you're all laid out?
Yes.
Okay. And Rhiannon is only 6 feet from the door. That's where she pulled up short. Before there was no door. And
Rhiannon turned left, and then we're headed toward the vampire on the right.
Okay, so your weapon is still out, or?
Oh yeah, I blaze into life the sword.
Okay, so it'll start dripping silver fire, and you'll tell people to do that as you're moving forward, and you're telling her to go left. Okay, all right, that's Eric at 6. At 7 is our friends, the vampires. 6 of them, stalking towards Finnan, will gin up their courage to take a leap. And this is where I need to roll dice. The first 2 will jump at him and hiss as some of their skin cooks off as they hit the edge of his barrier. But as that barrier is struck, it dims and drops to about half of its former size, like 15 feet. Now it's down to 7. And a third vampire jumps at him from the side. And now the barrier is gone. The fire is now what is lighting up this place. The fire that Rhiannon has started, the fire coming forth from Rhiannon, and the fire from your sword. The light from Finnan is out. Next is Joel at 8. What do you got for me, Joel?
All right, so I'm going to start by yelling, "He murdered the fox!" to try to support Illyra's plan of faking her own death, apparently. And then
faking her death.
well, she handed you the hilt, so you stabbed her with. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying it might not be fake. We don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna get my shield out and rush. I'm gonna rush the vampire on the right, try to bull rush it into the wall and pin it there.
Okay, please roll 20-sided die.
And trying to avoid touching it because I have remembered vampires level drain. So
shield leading with this strategy.
Hitting it with the shield.
Okay.
And that is a 2.
Yeah, okay, so that was a great plan up here. That was just an awesome plan up here. And when you visualized how that was going to work out, that went great. And then you started moving forward, and you first collided with a chair that you weren't expecting was there. And then you swatted that out of the way with your shield. You got about 6 feet forward. Didn't really get to that vampire, but thanks. It's the thought that counts in these situations. All right? And that
Silver lining, you did a number on that chair.
That chair will never be the same again, especially when the fire gets to it that Rhiannon has got going. Okay, so Randy, you're at 10. What have you got for me?
Okay, so I attempted to bestow bardic inspiration. I don't think I need to continue singing, and I made my attempt, and either it worked or it didn't.
It didn't.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't need to continue singing for if it. Oh, you said it didn't for sure. Okay.
No, I said it did or it didn't. I was just agreeing.
It did or
with
it
you.
didn't, but
I mean, some of your friends certainly seem
mechanically,
inspired.
do I need to continue to sing?
You do have to continue to sing in order to maintain that inspiration, but it doesn't. It's sort of like letting go concentration of a spell. It will last for at least a round after you stop singing.
Okay.
I'm hoping you guys aren't still in this building in a round.
Well, yeah, that would be ideal.
Randy, could you roll a 20-sided die for me? Because you're clearly thinking, wondering, what am I going to do here? Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Before you go any further, let me just remind you of a thing that you might have forgotten between now and either the recap or the last time we played. So you remember the kitchen? You remember the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just think about the kitchen for a minute.
All the poor indentured children.
Mm-hmm. They're in that kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that there's much you can do about it right now.
Yeah, no. I think what I will do is I will touch. I don't even need to touch Rhiannon's shoulder at this point. I'll just say, Rhiannon, two vampires left and right, 6 feet from the door or whatever, and we got a bunch of vampires attacking Finnan behind us, and it looked like he's in trouble. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that.
All right.
And that's I mean, I guess I could try and throw one of my knives at one of the vampires or something to distract him, but
Do you want to?
sure, let's give it a try.
All right. Which vampire are we throwing at here?
Whatever one of the ones attacking Finnan.
Okay.
Whichever one seems closest and clearest and easiest for me to hit without accidentally like putting in a knife in Eric's eye or something like that.
Yep.
All right. Which I'm sure he appreciates. 10.
Yeah.
All right. 10 will fly wild, and you're now
Yeah.
-1 knife. It went off into the darkness. Well,
Okay.
the room at this point. Okay, but thank you. All right, so that brings us to the conclusion of this round. It is about to be the beginning of the second round. I'll start with you, Rhiannon, because you're a live wire. You've got fire. And that rhymed, even though I didn't intend it to. What would you like to do this round? You tell me what you're going to do, and then we roll initiative.
Well, I want to ask a question of the voice and then
Okay.
decide.
Talking goes first, so before we even need to roll initiative, go ahead.
Will the doorway hole burn me if I get too close to it?
No.
Or am I? Okay. Good to know. And so there's two things I'm thinking of doing depending on the answer to sort of where logistically things are.
Gotcha.
So looking left, Randy was saying there are two vampires. Do I have a path to the one on the left where it's just them and then the wall? Or am I getting tables with passed out humans at them?
You're getting tables with passed out humans at them. The only way to get a clear shot at that vampire is to let it close on you. The problem with this thing is it's broad and long. It is not a weapon of great precision. And so you turn that flamethrower in that direction and everything there burns.
Yeah. Sorry guys, but I'm gonna walk through the doorway hole.
That's fine.
And point it out onto the street.
Okay. Roaring the fire ahead of you.
Yeah, essentially, like, because I'm assuming that like across the street we'll hit another building pretty quickly. So I want to turn and
shoot it up.
Lord knows I'll turn to the left.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go down the street.
Mm-hmm. To try to keep it from actually burning anything. All right.
Yeah.
I'll shout, can you shoot it up?
You'll say. So Randy says, can you shoot it up?
And I will say I'll try, but I'm doing it outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you'll do when we come to your initiative. Thank you, Rhiannon. Okay, so Eric, you're to my left here. What do you want to do this round?
I am going to fight off any vampire that gets in the way of my allies getting out of here.
Is it safe to say that you're the last man to leave this place?
I mean, I am the last person whose name I know to leave this place.
Okay, fair enough. You got to just never leave a man behind, that kind of thing. That's where I was going with that one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just, not all of us are men, so,
I'm in this case, humanity.
I didn't want to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, thank you, Eric.
It's a monkey's paw that.
Yeah,
anyway.
No one likes a monkey's paw. All right, thank you, Eric. Joel, you are next in my line of vision if I'm Hollywood squaresing this situation.
I move to be. I'm going to move out the door. If Rhiannon's already out it, I'm going to follow her out and take position just to the side of the door, preparing to try to block any vampires that come out after us.
Okay, got it. So also providing sort of that Eric style, let's try and cover the rear of this party situation.
Right. Trying, yes, performing rear guard,
all right.
Essentially, but getting out of the building while I'm doing it.
Got it. Allie, you are next in my clockwise order.
I will I'm not going to move completely out yet, but I'm going to try to move in that direction, but I also want to try to focus on the mark or reach out again because like I can't get the dagger out of the sheath. I don't have any other ways of defending myself or anyone else. So I am going. Yes.
You're on mute, Joel.
Sorry, my dog was making noise. I meant
Okay.
to do this last round and I forgot. I have an unpiece tied dagger in the small of my back. I meant to throw that to Allie
Okay,
at the start.
I'll let
Can
you
I
do
do
it.
that as part of my action since
I'm a
I'm not
generous
attacking?
I'm a generous dungeon master. I'll certainly let you do that.
Okay.
So go ahead, Allie. You were
Toss that
saying.
to
Okay.
Allie as part of my action.
Okay. I'm still gonna reach out and be like, this is a dire situation. I need something, anything. And there's that feeling of desperation that I'm gonna pour into it because I'm tired of feeling useless.
Gotcha. All right. So that's you. Randy.
What's Finnan doing?
Finnan is trying to deftly dodge jumping vampires on the table.
And where is Eric in relation to Eric was being rear guard? Where is he in relation to Finnan?
He is about 7 feet from Finnan. Finnan is the furthest, deepest person into the room.
Okay. So Finnan's rear guard.
That's correct.
Okay.
Finnan gave you the fly, you fools.
Yeah. What's my sense of how well is my sense that he's outmatched at this point?
I mean, he did just disable via the magic at his disposal 3 of the vampires that were leaping at him. So I suppose it all comes down to who goes first and what they do.
So there's one left facing him, or
3? There were 6
left
originally.
Oh, okay. Right.
And he probably shouldn't go toe to toe with every vampire in the room because that will not end well. But at the same time, definitely taking some vampire attention that ideally wouldn't be focused on you. I mean, the remember you guys talked vampires a little bit. Joel said something a minute ago about like when they touch you, blah blah blah. Vampires can drain 2 energy levels at a hit. That kills any one of you with one.
Okay, so I will think I'm gonna stay where I am. I'm gonna put my hand on my mark, and I'm gonna be prepared to attempt to throw out the barrier that we've seen a couple times before, as a last resort. If I feel like I need to push back the vampires in order to protect Finn and or Eric.
All right.
Or the exit.
Sounds good. I now need you all to roll 10-sided dice for me as I do the same.
All right.
Got a 6.
Okay, hang on. Eric
9.
6. I think I heard you say 3, Rhiannon. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, I heard somebody say 9, but I don't know who it was.
That was
Randy,
me.
3. Okay.
All right. I got a 2.
Okay. Joel said, I'm sorry, Joel, it was a 9?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And 2, Allie, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, give me a second to add your numbers. Because you're taking actions. Okay, only +1 for you, Rhiannon, because you already had the fire. And Eric. Okay, so actually, the first person who's going to go here is Rhiannon at 4. So Rhiannon, your plan is walk out with fire.
Yep.
Okay, you will do just that. You will walk out with fire, and you will attempt to push the fire up. Please roll 20-sided die.
13.
That doesn't seem, you can't, it's just sort of left. Damn it, it's sort of aimed where you were aiming it. You can't seem to get it to. The good news is you can keep it from burning a building next door. So now you're out through the hole, and this thing is, the front of the building is merrily burning as that fire is consuming it, and you are just pouring that fire out into the night. It's both terrifying and exhilarating all at once. Okay. About how many feet outside would you like to go?
Well, so it sounds like I can't really aim my arms, but can I aim my body?
Your body is a little bit more mutable, although you can't quite go like, I'm going to lay on the ground and fire it up into the air.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying that. I'm
Yeah.
still working for the down the street rather than
Okay.
across.
You can accomplish that goal. One, just because random chaos exists in the universe, the DM has to roll the 00 check. Hang on. Great news, no 00. So there wasn't a guy just walking down the street. What the? Okay.
Happy
So-
midsummer, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you'll do, Rhiannon. Thank you very much.
Wow.
All right, Allie, you're next.
Yes, I'm going to do what I was talking about. I'm going to, like, I'm desperate. Like, I don't have anything that's useful in this moment. Like,
Please roll twice at that.
3?
Okay.
Hmm.
You'll reach out for help, right? Like,
Mhm.
help me, I need to do something. Okay. And you'll get the struggling voice of the mark in your head, and it will say 2 words. Now I have to find where in my notes they are, because Eric, of course, did not repeat them. Genhawar Sahan. Only sort of more like a Genhawar Sahan.
Oh, there you go.
You know what? Then I'm just going to repeat that. I will shout it if I have to.
Okay. Do you want to shout it or not?
Yeah, sure. I'm desperate. I don't care at this juncture.
All right. Yelled out loud. You will say those words. People around you might hear them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then suddenly, you are not standing where you were standing a moment ago. You are now standing 200 plus feet down the road from where you were standing in the middle of this room a moment ago in a patch of darkness. There's Rhiannon in the fire way back there. I don't know that that's necessarily what you were expecting to happen, but it did. You felt yourself whisked from one place to another, from one patch of darkness to another patch of darkness. So that happens. And
I mean, on the
then-
one hand, I'm thrilled. On the other hand, not what I meant.
Well, you asked for help. You got help.
As heard faintly shouted. That's not what I meant.
Okay, fair enough. That you're 250 feet away. That will not carry back to the rest of the group. All right. Then
No.
at 5 is our friends the vampires. You will get 5 of them on the move that matter. 1 each arcing in at the sides of the party, right? Approaching you. The one stalking in towards you, Eric, approaching cautiously because you've got a flame-dripping blade in your hand, right?
Yeah.
And it'll take a lunge, just coming short of that blade. I assume you're sort of swinging it in its general direction to try to keep it at bay.
Warding him back, yeah.
And its healthy respect for that decision will cause it to miss you as it tries to avoid being tagged by the blade as it comes in. The other one is arcing in at Joel, who fortunately has an armor class based on armor, unlike the rest of you people, and so actually gets missed when I roll a 3.
Yeah,
So-
the only other person with armor is now 250.
So Joel,
Yeah, but
This
it's very
thing will-
stylish armor.
this thing will come in at you and you'll throw your shield up in desperation and it'll basically tang off of your shield as it was trying to claw at you. So you know that armor and shield combo just saved your life, my friend. Okay, so that happens. And then there are 3 more now sort of like trying to circle in on Finnan and leap. 1 will miss and fly wide of him, landing on the table, right? The other 2 will basically tackle him from the sides, and he'll go down off to the side of the table underneath both of these vampires who are on top trying to worry at him from the ground. Next is Eric.
So there's a vampire actively attacking me right now.
There is a vampire actively attacking you right now.
All right, well, I swing the sword at him.
Okay, go ahead. This sword likes hitting vampires. It already hit one.
I rolled an 18.
All right. In fact, you will hit another one. Damage, please. If you recall, it's 2d4 plus strength plus 1, specialization plus 3 is plus 4, plus the plus of the weapon plus 3 is plus 7, plus d4 of fire.
Okay, so it's with the plus 7, it's 11.
Correct?
What was the last thing that you said?
An additional d4 of fire. You have to roll another
Right.
d4.
Yeah, okay, so it's 11, and then, nope, almost dropped the caltrop on the ground,
No one needs that.
and then just one holy fire point.
Or no damage. All right, you will lay into the vampire, wounding it, but this vampire is a real vampire, not a freshly born one in the sewers, and so it's not down. You think you'd need to do that 3 or 4 more times before you could actually put this vampire down.
Wonderful.
It's in a fight. It's in a fight with you now, Eric. All right, and a heartbeat behind that is Randy. Randy, what do you got for me?
Things don't look to be going great for Eric and Finnan.
That is
So-
correct.
Question, the door to the kitchens, is that in a straight line with the front door? Like, so you go from the front door and there's all the bar on the right, there's the table on the left, you go to the back and there's the door to the kitchen?
The bar is on a straight line from the front door. And the kitchen, the door to the kitchen is kind of off to the left of the bar. So, sort of triangular to get from the front door to the kitchen. If you roll a 20-sided die for me.
A 6.
You'll recall that there was a door leading out of the kitchen on the opposite side. If what you're thinking is make a mad dash for the kitchen, it's not like anyone's guarding the kitchen right now, Randy.
No. Here was my thought. I wanted to summon a barrier to push back the vampires away from my friends and create an escape route. But I was thinking, as long as I'm doing that, I could appeal the helm to protect the innocent and create a corridor, essentially, not a bubble with this barrier like it's been before, but rather a corridor. Push the vampires to the side and create a clear corridor from the kitchens to the front door, and for my friends and the children to escape.
It would appear as though, Randy, you might need to make a choice if that's your intention. If you're trying to get a corridor, then it's not necessarily going to help your friends. But if you're trying to help your friends, there's really no hope for a corridor.
Okay. All right. Well, I will help my friends. So I will try and fling back the vampires from my friends with the barrier and clear a path to the front door.
All right. So you'll feel the power of the mark surge forth from you. And you'll feel it erupt out into this sort of silvery barrier that previously came up, that you've seen this thing before, I think twice now, if I'm not mistaken. And it will roll over everyone and everything around you, right? The vampires arcing in at the party from either side will be staggered back. It doesn't hurl them bodily. They're a bit more powerful than wolves. But it does stagger them back on their feet far enough, maybe 15 feet apart each, to push them away from your friends. And the vampires on the ground on the other side of the table, worrying away at Finnan, will also be pushed sort of like bodily off of his now prostrate body. He looks insensate, laying on the ground there, and he's got blood freely flowing from him as well. So you've created this arc, a protective bubble. It's protecting against vampires, It's not protecting against the fire that's merrily chewing away at the front walls, but
Okay.
that's not an immediate problem. So you've created a barrier. I'll come back to you. Okay. Eric, that's good news for you. Joel, that's good news for you because it means you don't have to go a mano with these vampires. So we've done Eric, we've done Randy, Ellie. Oh yes, Joel, batting a cleanup on the initiative.
Okay, well, I don't have a magic weapon, so I couldn't hurt these guys anyway. So, but change to what I was originally planning on doing. I'm going to move over, scoop Finnan up in a fireman's carry, and head out the door.
Okay, so you will rush over to where Finnan is. Please roll 20-sided die for me. You're trying to hit AC 10.
Landed cockeyed. Hang on. I rolled a 3 again.
Okay, so we're going to get you a different die for rolling high. That's going to be your like perception, intelligence check, dex check die. That's that one. But you're going to get another one for the higher rolls. So basically, you'll get like a hand on Finnan, but it's blood slicked, and it will come loose before you can like pull him in your general direction. You can see Randy that he's trying to help. Okay, and Randy, we come to you. You can move. You did this thing. But you didn't really go anywhere. You can move. You got about 30 feet in any direction that you kind of want to go in. The vampires do not look happy with what you have just done. They are paying attention to you. There are a dozen vampires paying attention to you, Randy.
Right.
Oh, okay. I will say, oh man. All right, I will say, we only wanted to leave in peace. Don't make me whip out the turn undead, my friends.
Okay, so that you'll say to the vampires around the room. Do you wish to move at all, or are you happy to stand where you stand as you give your speech to these vampires?
I mean, the barrier is protecting my friends at this point, right? And gives a path to the exit still.
That is correct. If you recall, it does not move with you. It stays where you put it up.
Yeah. So I guess I could make a grab for Finnan.
You could. Do you want to roll a 20-sided die for me?
Sure. 6.
All right. So again, he's slick with blood, and so while you grab hold of him for a second, each of you have started dragging him like a foot forward before your like hands slick with blood come loose. So I mean, between the two of you, that's 2 feet towards the door. You're making progress. And you're both standing shoulder to shoulder over him at this particular moment. Joel, Randy's thing is protecting you for now. The vampires, I don't know that they're buying the detente offer, but they are cautious, Randy. You did threaten them with clerical power. And so that's round 3. We're inside outside now. I'm going to go with the person who is furthest away from this place first. And that's you, Ellie. What would you like to do this round?
Well, so I'm a distance away now.
If you were to haul ass and do nothing else for the entire round, you could get back to where Rhiannon is.
Yeah. I will probably do that. Is there any way I could get my stiletto out while I am running?
You could certainly try. All you need to do is not have one of those dice like Joel's got. That'll create a problem for you.
I will do that then.
Okay.
I will haul ass while trying to get my
stiletto
not undone.
Gotcha. So that's you.
Yes.
Rhiannon, you are the next furthest away.
Well, I mean, so I guess I'll yell back inside, not that they'll hear me, but I will yell, if you can get away, I'll take care of anyone following you.
Okay. So you will yell that out. That'll go before initiative. And then what do you want to do with your action?
I mean, continue to not roast innocents.
Okay. An excellent choice, really. Okay. So that's Rhiannon. Eric, I'm going to you next because you're just next to me on the left.
Okay, so the vampire that I was facing is wedged off from me by the
Yes,
barrier.
both of those vampires are now 15 feet away from you guys.
All right, I am joining the Finn and Daisy chain. Let's do this.
3 grown men can clearly carry a halfling out of this place.
Well,
You would have
I'm starting to think that we're like kind of sliding him toward each other.
You are, in a way. That's correct. I understand a ladder once defeated your entire party, so right now at least it's something else. Okay.
And you said this was an attack roll.
This is an attack roll. Don't roll it yet because we haven't rolled initiative, but it is an attack roll, yes.
Okay.
Okay. All you have to do is hit
That's
AC 10.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to join the Daisy
hit
chain.
AC 10. Okay. All right. So, Joel?
I will also attempt to be getting, assuming the barrier is still up, I will be attempting to help get Finnan out the door.
Okay. And last, Randy.
Ditto. Trying to get Finnan out the door and look very holy while I'm doing it.
All right.
Surely
Look
one of
very-
us three will
Can manage
roll a
it.
10 or higher.
He
All
stands
right.
there and yells, "Cure wounds!"
Speaking of things,
For the
speaking of
clerical
things like
intimidation.
a 10 or higher, if you could please roll your 10-sided dice. And Eric, what is your number?
I
Holy
rolled
shit.
2.
2. Okay.
Mhm.
Rhiannon, your number?
20, you said?
10-sided for initiative.
All right. 6.
Okay, 6. Randy?
A 6. That makes 6 for me.
There we go. Allie?
3.
It's some kind of
Okay.
divine power.
That's some kind. And Joel?
10.
10. All right. You're the guy, you go last. It's kind of your thing. It's what you do. Okay. Rhiannon, at the very beginning of this round, the fire guts out. Your hands are your own again when we get to you in the initiative order. Okay. Eric, you're first.
All
Shall we
right,
begin?
Daisy chain. Here we go.
The grabbing.
I rolled a 9. I think I have a +1 strength modifier, so it should be 10, right?
You hit AC 10. Congratulations, Eric. You've scooped Finnan
Oh,
up
boy.
by his shirt and you've got him into your arms. Okay.
This is okay. Can I tell if he's alive or?
I mean, you're going to need to get him someplace where you can check for a pulse. That kind of. He's certainly unconscious. This isn't about physical wounds as much as it is about a combination of physical wounds and level drain. Okay.
Take off for the door.
Grab Finnan, head for the door.
I give Randy and Joel,
or as we like to call it, the burning hole that was once a door.
We are leaving.
Marines, we are leaving. All right, Allie, you are hauling ass and tugging. Go ahead.
All right. 20?
Yes, 20-sided die.
20? Okay. 13.
All right, good enough. That thing is free, and you now have a weapon out as you will come crashing up to basically where Rhiannon is.
Yeah.
And hey, the fire is out, which is delightful. So that's Allie. Next is Rhiannon. Your hands are your own again.
Fire. Sorry.
I'm waiting out here because I just offered to. So here's my idea.
Yes.
I will position myself to the side of the door hole so that as my friends come out, like I don't start the spell, but then once the last of my friends comes out, then I start it sort of like across the door hole. So I'm not burning it more. I'm just like getting the person coming into
sort of creating a jet of flame that prohibits people who aren't your friends from exiting the burning door hole. Got it. All right. Thank you for jumping aboard the burning door hole train with me. Okay. So that's Rhiannon. Randy?
I will hold my hands like this and just kind of walk behind Eric as he makes for the door with Finnan.
I'm totally keeping you all at bay. So totally keeping you all at bay.
Exactly. And I will say, thank you for the lovely evening. Lick your wounds And let's all just go our merry way, shall we?
All right.
And
Sip your
continue to
wagers.
follow Eric out.
So I just want to be clear on this as you're doing it. You realize you're mocking the powerless vampires, right, Randy?
No, I'm not mocking them.
All right, cool. Not mocking them. Understood.
I'm
Understood,
encouraging
Randy.
them to, like, let bygones be bygones.
Be bygones. I understand
Let
completely.
bygones be
Be
bygones.
bygones.
Let bygones be bygones.
Okay, that was pretty bad. All right. And
thank you.
Joel.
Hustling out the door as well. I mean,
All right.
Eric's already at the door, right?
That is correct. Eric is at the door and through. Randy is going to
Hey,
go through
I'm not
next.
leaving until everyone is left. Remember?
Not through yet. Is at
I
the
will
door,
hand.
but not
I will
yet
hand
through.
Okay,
Finnan
so-
to Joel as he runs past.
Right. I was going to
Okay.
ask, can I take Finnan since Eric and Rhiannon are the only two who can actually hurt the vampires right now?
Okay,
So-
that's
Take this
entirely
Finnan ball,
Right. Yeah.
that is
and I lateral him
entirely
over to Joel.
fair. All right, so
Don't
that
make me catch him.
you'll achieve that there. Is it safe to say, Randy, that you're stepping outside, or do you want to wait inside with everybody else?
I would follow the path of Finnan. So as he's handed off to Joel, I would follow Joel.
Okay, got it. So you'll be sort of outside. All right.
Yep.
You're right, Joel. It's not a lateral; it's a handoff.
There we go.
The
Half of the
Vamp-
bowl.
the people in that are sort of at the tail end of the place, right? So like Eric is the last person out the door. You'll be able to get a sense also because you have the mask that the vampires were testing the edge of that thing, but the fire is merrily burning in the front of this place. And they're now sort of thinking self-preservation as opposed to, I'm going to try and rush the people at the door because there's a stupid barrier up, blah, blah, blah. So they're looking exits around, whether that's second floor, back out into the kitchen. They're sort of edging towards ways out of here that aren't the fiery door hole. Okay? Yes, Eric?
All
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the last thing to occur in the round is to you, Rhiannon. If you're thinking of using the very same thing, you're now drawing from your own reservoir of power. So it will be less powerful, and it will only last a round. It is granted to you ahead of when you should get it. If you wish to do something entirely novel and learn a new thing, then your flames will be infused with the power of the mark.
Hmm.
Do you have any response to that? If not, go ahead.
Just good to know.
All right, good to know. And a conclusion of that round, beginning of the next round. All right, so Rhiannon, what do you want to do this round?
Still
Waiting
ready.
to give fire.
I mean, even like less powerful is good enough for
This purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Eric, I'll come to you last because you're the last person out of the place. Randy, Joel, and the unconscious Finnan. What are you two doing?
So did I notice on the way in, are there any temples or anything else in the vicinity? Because if the vampires just have to run around the building, we are absolutely not safe here. We need to get somewhere protected.
Was
The
there
only-
a back exit out the kitchen?
There was
was a
a
door.
back door. You don't know if that
Okay.
actually takes you outside or someplace else.
Right.
The only place you've seen so far that could possibly have been a temple was that spooky looking tower several blocks away from here. The closest thing to here that's friendly terrain is Briar House. That's just down the street.
Oh, well, in that case, I would encourage everyone to hustle out to I'm not going to say Briar House out loud. But
I was going to say, do you want to say that out loud?
No,
Joe?
I'm gonna say, okay, everybody, and point in the direction of Briar House, and
Okay.
and try to get everybody moving in that direction.
Do you wish to do that by?
actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
With
leading
Finn,
the
since
way.
I'm still carrying Finn, and I'm just gonna take off.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Do you want to get them to go that way by just going that way and hoping that they
That's
follow?
probably best.
Yeah,
All right.
I think I will fall in and
Got it.
follow Joel.
Randy, how about you?
Same. Yeah.
Okay.
Just follow Joel.
And so I promised I'd come to you last, Eric.
Okay. All of my companions are out of there.
We haven't rolled for initiative yet. They're all planning on being out of there.
Okay. I have the sword ready. If a vampire comes, I'm going to attack it. Otherwise, I'm going to leave.
Okay, sounds good. Please roll your 10-sided dice.
I rolled a 3.
Okay, Eric 3, Rhiannon
8.
8, Randy
7.
okay, Allie
Just a moment. Another 3.
okay, 3. Good at this initiative thing. And Joel.
Apparently.
Let's see if
4.
Joel is. Oh, I was going to say, let's see if Joel continues to be bad at this initiative thing, but not so much. Okay, Allie, you're actually first. Do you
Okay.
get what? Do you pick up what Joel is putting down and just dash off in the direction of Briarhouse? It's about 1,200 feet away.
Yeah, I'll pick that up. I'll just be like, I'll take in everything, and then I'll just go. Let's get out of here, and I'll take off.
Okay, whoosh. Okay, so you'll see Allie start to go in the direction that perhaps you're hoping. Joel, dodging off into the night. Eric, you're next.
Who's still in here?
Of your party, only Randy.
Okay, well, all right. Are there other people that I can see
Oh,
other
there
than the vampires?
are people all over this room. Many of them slumped unconscious on tables or next to tables. Some of them crawling weakly towards the front door. Some of them trying to get out of here either through the kitchens or the thing upstairs.
Can't save them all.
Easily a dozen choices, Eric.
Paladins do not take negativity like that lightly, Rhiannon.
They're probably all Sharans, we said, right?
Did we say that?
I believe Finnan said something to that effect, or
Well,
implied it.
these are the entrees. The people eating them are the.
Finnan said the place was dedicated to Shar. He didn't say that everyone inside
Right,
was a
that's
Shar.
true.
And they're probably not. The cult wouldn't necessarily eat all of their own. They could eat some of their own, right? Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna present the Flaming Vindicator.
Yep.
And I am going to attempt to turn those vampires.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Eric. Please roll a 20-sided die for me.
Okay.
Excellent. That's a 12.
All right. You don't know whether or not you've actually successfully turned the vampires, but none of them are coming at you. They're keeping a wary eye on you, but as I said, they're much more interested in self-preservation than they are in you right now. Hey, Eric, could you roll a 20-sided die for me?
14.
You vaguely recall that your daughter said something mysterious to you about the basement earlier tonight.
That's true. There's someone terrible and evil in the basement. Is that what you mean?
That could be what I'm talking about, yeah.
I see.
I mean, that's just something to think on.
Do I have a clear path toward the basement?
I mean, really, I think I was trying to tell you that more to tell you that while these vampires might not be able to get through whatever it is you're doing, that doesn't mean that there might not be something in the basement that could. Although if you want to take that to please rush into the basement and fight the great evil, I will accept that answer.
I think I'll pass this time.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway,
No
my
wise.
goal is to distract the vampires so that anyone who can escape does escape.
Gotcha. There is no one here who will make it outside that door without being dragged.
Can I drag somebody, or are they all wedged out?
There is none of the people that are trying desperately to crawl their way across the floor and get out through the burning door hole are in any way being negatively impacted by that field. So there is random a woman who is the closest to you, just a few feet away, desperately, blood flowing freely from a wound at her neck, weakly crawling across the floor towards salvation. If you
I will
want
go
to
and grab that person and help her out.
Okay. So that is what you will do. You'll try to turn the things, seeing that they're not coming at you anyway. You'll grab her, kind of lift her up onto her feet and head towards the exit. That's where you're at. Okay. Next is Joel. Down the street towards Al.
Heading down toward Briar House with Finnan on my shoulders. And if there are options while running down the street of like pools of light, I will be trying to stick to shadows so that if anybody does come out, hopefully they don't see us.
Got it. Trying to be stealthy about it. Noted. All right.
Stealthy as
Randy.
I can be clanking down the street.
Not very stealthy, but I appreciate the thought. It's the thought that counts.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, Randy. Randy is having an existential crisis.
All my friends are safe. I'll go around to the back door. And
so you will run out of the flaming door hole and start to make your way around the building. Is that a correct statement?
Yep.
Okay. When you come out of the flaming door hole, do you turn left or right at first?
Left.
All right. So people seeing you do that will not know that your intention is to double around the back of the building until you reach that side of the building to double around the back of it. So like the Alleys and the Joels and the Rhiannons who are sort of watching you go won't know that there's something afoot until you bang a left and start to go around the back of the building. Okay?
Yeah, I'll say to them, go on. I don't want to endanger you. Yeah.
All right. So he'll yell that from the building as he starts to make that left-hand turn. You'll see that, Eric, only when you drag this woman out of the fiery door hole and into the street. Oh, wait a minute. That was somewhat unexpected. And then last...
Not really. Randy and I have met. I'm not surprised.
And then last, but certainly not least...
I will ghost. Larnet.
Nice
but,
use,
like,
nice
am I
use
doing
of the
anything
Forgotten
different?
Realms.
No. No, I am not.
All right. So, again, last but not least, Rhiannon. Looks like your friends are out.
I mean, I guess I'll go towards Briar House, sort of watching for pursuers, basically.
So you're trying to be something of a rear guard. Is that a correct statement? Okay. Roll a 20-sided die for me as you're making your way past the edge of the building.
18.
Okay. You'll know Randy's turning down that way, but you're not even really thinking about it. I'm going to come back to you in a second. Okay. So we are now out of rounds. There's no combat going on. So we're just doing things now. So we're down to, what do you guys want to do? My understanding of it is that Joel and Allie are going direct beat path to Briar House. Let's close that quarter mile as swiftly as we can. Is it safe to say that you'll sort of line up with each other so that you're moving more or less together?
If Allie will slow down for my stumpy little legs.
You're on mute, Allie.
I also think that clustering up might not be the best idea. Moving as a giant pack of people is heavily noticeable.
Okay, fair. So does that mean you just like to get to Briar House first on your own and you'll let everybody else figure it out?
I think that's what my thinking is at the present moment. Yes.
So no stumpy leg stopping for Allie. Yeah, I really gotta. Come on, guys. So that's Joel. I know what you're doing.
Only long, lithe, shapely legs.
Yep.
See ya, Joel.
I get it.
So Eric, you have this girl. She's probably 19 winters, something like that. Dressed
Young
in
woman. Gotcha.
Yep. Dressed in, cheap finery, drunk, drugged, drained of blood, staggering alongside you. What do you want to do?
Okay. I have my flaming sword in one hand. I'm going to press the other hand to the wound on her neck and hope that Helm is watching over my choices with approval. And I'm going to try and heal her.
Could you please roll a 20-sided die to determine Helm's approval in this particular instance? I'm going to roll some percentile dice.
I rolled a 9.
Okay. It appears as though Helm is not tuned in to your exploits at this particular moment, or if he is, he's just not helping out.
Well, I'm applying pressure at least.
You are applying pressure at least. Okay. All right. So you're sort of stopped, is the point I'm trying to make. You're not making real progress here. Okay. Randy, you've made your way around the side of the building. Is it your plan to creep around to the back?
Yeah, creep in the sense that I'm gonna have my thing glow as a nightlight, also as
Okay.
an indication that I have power, and yeah, go to the back door basically, and
Okay. So you'll
try to
creep
listen.
around, you'll
Yeah.
turn left, right?
Yeah.
Which basically like left, and now you're looking down the alleyway that there should lead to a back door here, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that back door is now open. And there are two vampires standing outside of it, just sort of like resting against the back door as they've pushed their way out through this portion of the building. They don't see you immediately. Do you want to, whoa?
Yeah, I'll whoa back and I'll go after my friends.
All right. Somewhat downcast because you were really hopeful that you would be able to do something there, but it just doesn't look like that you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Which brings me back to you, Rhiannon. You seem like you're perhaps a little bit troubled by what has unrolled here in our attempts to get in and out of this place over the last 30 to 60 minutes. So I kind of figure you're somewhat lost in your own thoughts as you're making your way down the street. What are you thinking?
I mean, there's no such thing as a free lunch, so it was a nice idea. And then, like, it has, serious consequences. No shit. So, I mean, I guess I go back to not using it, which was the right decision. So only use it in life or death.
Almost as if it knows what you're thinking. That was a den of depravity and lust in need of a cleansing by flame. There was really no saving it.
But one could have saved the victims.
The people there were far from innocent. They were there by their own choices, and they paid the price for those choices.
Yeah, that's not a game I'm playing. Like, I'm not playing the like they're not innocent. No.
There are degrees of innocence, I suppose. The power's yours. Use it as you see fit. But I will remind you, you would not have even been there except for Eric's actions. Our mission is our babes, not whatever child he's chasing. And you certainly never would have been trapped there but for his actions and his foolish trust in that woman that he should have known better to trust. You were about to put an end to all of those games, but then you were talked out of it. You should be in charge. You're the wisest, you're the most powerful, and ultimately, you're the only reason that anyone made it out of there alive at all.
Do you have a beef with Helm?
We know whose voice this is.
Such a good question.
I don't have a beef with Helm, per se. I have a beef with stupidity. And I believe that Helm and Helm's followers, your friend included, frequently tend to embody it. Do I need to remind you what they're doing half a world away right now? What they did half a world away a decade ago? Do you know about that? About the genocide that they perpetrated on the other side of the Shining Sea?
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, I do not know, but like paladins, checks out sometimes.
Oh.
Not
Paladin
always.
syndrome.
Is that what he is? Is that what your friend Eric is? A paladin?
What else would he be?
A champion, perhaps. A paladin, I very much doubt.
Shots fired.
Okay, cinematically, can I suggest that we cut back to me for 1 second?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll cut back to Eric for 1 second.
A paladin, I doubt. And then I'm trying to lay on hands, right? And I'm like, no, it's not working. Time to do this the hard way. And I use the flaming sword to cauterize the wound.
Okay. Do you have any medical experience of any kind, Eric? I
mean, I was a Boy Scout and I was trained in first aid. And
do they have
I know
a merit badge for wound cauterization in the Boy Scouts? I've never been a Boy
cauterizing
Scout.
somebody's gaping throat wound? No.
Okay, no.
But I'm familiar with the concept.
You sure are. Could you please roll a
You watched
20-sided die?
House?
I watched House. That
We've
was a
all
good
watched
idea.
House. We've all watched House.
I rolled a 5.
Okay, so this is a good news, bad news situation. The good news is that you have applied fire and that the fire seems to have blackened and sealed the wound. The bad news
Okay.
is that the woman has stopped breathing.
Oh, great. Well, I pick her up and I run back toward Briar House.
All right. So you will, as you're doing that, encounter Randy looking rather deflated coming around the edge of the building.
I'll say, is she okay?
Nope.
Does she need
Oh,
CPR?
Yes.
Let's apply CPR.
Do you want to apply it here in the street with the gaping
No.
fire hole? Okay.
No, but like maybe
She
if
could
we can get
survive a
someplace
couple
within
of minutes.
yeah.
If only somebody had a healing potion.
See, this is
We-
the thing about emergency.
Don't we?
Yeah, we do, but we're not
we do.
there. So
I have a
I
healing
mean-
potion on me.
You do. That's correct.
Do I still have a healing potion on me?
You
Chris?
distributed them amongst yourselves. So I think everyone in the party's got one at this point.
That's
Yeah.
not why I'm asking that.
Yep.
I'm asking that because
Yeah.
I was in a room with a fox at twilight. Do I still have a healing potion on me?
You fortunately weren't as close to her as some other people were. And so as a consequence, you
Not
still
for
have a
want
healing.
of trying on
Wait.
her part.
Wait, do I still have a potion?
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, let's pause and feed her a healing potion.
So we're going to lay her down. We're going to try to get her to swallow, despite the fact that she's not breathing, by pouring liquid down her throat.
And then massaging the throat to get her to, yeah.
Randy looks dubious about this strategy that you have. Randy, is there some dubiousness I'm detecting here?
There's a little dubiousness, but I've done dubious things, so
Well,
I'm
let's
just
just see
gonna-
how this plays out. All right, so
it's Eric's
Rhiannon,
call.
would you say you're strolling casually down the street, hustling down the street? I thought you're kind of like lost in thought, so I didn't see you running. I saw
No,
you
not
maybe
running.
jogging down the street. Okay, could you roll a 20-sided die for me?
20.
All right, lost in your own
die.
thoughts. Okay, gentlemen, we've stopped. We're attempting to apply healing potion to woman. All right, so Eric, if you could please roll a 20-sided die for me.
Is her heart still beating?
Do you want to check for that?
I do.
Okay. Very thready. Like
Good.
thump. Thump.
I rolled a 9.
Okay. You, believe it or not, you managed this trick. And she starts coughing it back up because you're forcing liquid down her throat
Nope.
while she wasn't breathing. Oh my God. Now you're like, could you roll a 20-sided die for me, Eric?
the good news is now she's drowning.
That would be a
What a-
2.
Okay.
What a way to go, drowning in a healing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Does that even work? Like
There was
yeah.
actually a long discussion online about whether you could drown in healing potion or not.
I've got this one. So, okay. Again, this is a good news, bad news situation.
Oh my God.
The good news is you've succeeded in applying healing to this woman. And so you'll see the ragged edges of the wound, the blackened bits of it like heal and close a little bit. The bad news is that she's getting this stuff into her lungs, and we've reached her maximum hit points, and there's still potion to go. And so you got to let go unless you want her to drown in this thing.
Okay, well, I'll let go.
Okay. She will begin screaming.
All right, well,
That's fair.
we're trying to help you. It's all right.
She's trying to stagger away, screaming. That's drawing attention. Could you roll a 20-sided die for me, Randy and Eric?
And I'm going to try bardic influence to like
Calm her down.
Influence NPC reaction towards positive here.
Oh
Mhm.
dear.
I
Are we
rolled
gonna
5,
get the
by the
little-
way.
So what do I roll? Sorry, first
20-sided die.
ask me 20-sided die. 6.
All right, that's actually good because you're trying to detect something. You will both hear horns blaring in the distance.
Oh, that's probably a good thing, honestly.
Some madman set fire to a building of some renown in the city.
Exactly.
It was actually a tag team effort, Eric. You started the fire first, and Rhiannon just finished it. And so
yeah.
that's somebody responding to that.
Good.
This
good.
woman screaming, however, Randy, there were a couple of vampires out back. Maybe we just let her scramble away, because I don't think she's just gonna stop screaming because you're trying to influence her. Maybe we saved her. Back into the pond with you.
Can we knock NPCs unconscious?
Oh, you
second
certainly can knock NPCs
Wham!
unconscious. Okay, there's a process for it. It's not automatic, but it's doable. Would you like to attempt to deploy that process, Eric?
Yes.
All right. You're like the world's craziest EMT. Could you roll a 20-sided die for me?
I mean, an EMT would typically have things
Drugs.
to inject into
Yes.
somebody who
Yes.
is
Understood.
fighting it.
You're using the flat of a blade. Understood.
I rolled a 2.
Swoosh.
This is my low rolling
Right.
D20.
Swoosh right over her head. And Randy, I don't think she's buying the "you guys are friendly" anymore. And she is now scrambling away at her best speed on all fours from the party.
At this point,
Yeah, I'll just say there are vampires near, and we just saved you from them. Keep screaming, and they'll find you.
Okay. Could you roll 2 10-sided dice? Add these two together.
I feel like we need the Benny Hill music.
Look how much effort we're putting into saving this poor woman.
A 2 and a 3.
All right. So she doesn't stop screaming immediately, but because it takes about a minute for that to sink into her brain. But by the time she gets to the other side of the street, she stops.
Good.
Okay. So you're at the front doors of Briar House, Allie.
I am.
Mhm.
And I mean, do I go in at this point? Do I wait outside for people? Like, I don't. Oh, I've at least sheathed my dagger again. Finally.
Okay.
If I see you pausing, I will probably yell something like, "Get the door open, coming through."
Yeah.
Get the door
my hands are
open,
tied up,
coming
so
through.
I'll hear that, and I'll do that. Then I will get the door open
Okay.
and get.
Fair enough. So you'll start banging on it because it's locked from the inside. Okay. Thank you. Joel?
Yeah, trying to get through the door if I can with Finnan.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I've got enough movement this round.
No.
Okay, then
Rhiannon?
still.
Yeah, Briar House, there it is in the distance. Oh, your friends are back there. You hear them. There was a screaming woman that they were apparent. What the hell? Eric tried to swing. I don't know what they're doing.
Nope, Briar House.
Okay. Got it. Check.
Comedy of errors.
All right. I was thinking that. So you will arrive at Briar House, Joel. The doors are being unlocked. You can hear the bolts being thrown on the inside. That's probably Varys turning all of those various bolts. Rhiannon, you'll come rolling up behind Joel because you were closing on him this entire time. He just does not move as fast as you. And maybe 2 rounds back are a hustling Randy and Eric, who I assume are now running, right? Because there's no reason not to be. Is that correct, Randy and Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that woman we tried to rescue
Oh, she's well away at this point.
Okay, great.
She was
Fine.
scrambling. She got up onto her feet.
Fine.
She stopped
It's all good.
screaming. Okay. I mean, she's not with you, but she's not in there. So
Great. It's probably
victory.
for the best.
Yeah. Okay. So Rhiannon, as you roll up on Joel and Allie, as the doors are being unlatched, do you have anything at all you want to say, or are you going to wait to be inside to have conversation? Remember, you can do this.
Inside.
Okay. Got it. All right. So those doors will fly open. It is a combination of Jamal holding a wand. You saw it tucked in her belt earlier. And the dwarf who has opened the door and now has a hand crossbow, and it's you. And she'll say, "Come in quickly." The door is still
Thank
open.
you.
So the three of you, what's wrong? She's looking at Finnan. Okay. Rhiannon, you'll roll in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going inside. So
Okay, quick,
Yeah.
quick, put him down by the fire, she'll say.
Yeah. Well, the purple lady was full of vampires.
What? And Eric
Yes.
and Randy, you'll come chugging up on the front doors at this particular moment. There's a anxious-looking dwarf with a heavy crossbow aiming it at you. Come in, quick! We have to close the
about right.
doors.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll go inside.
And you'll roll inside. Meanwhile, Allie, full of vampires. What? Joel,
Yes,
are you putting him down next to the fire?
Yeah, I'm laying him down and beginning to treat him as a casualty.
Okay, got it. Go ahead, Allie.
Yes, after our little meeting with our contact, let's just say the proprietors of the business weren't keen on letting anyone leave. So
I didn't. Damn it! I knew I should not have trusted her. That damned viper.
Have you access to someone with restorative magic?
That's you rolling in the front door. Hey,
Yep.
Joel, roll a 20
That's
sided
the
die
first
for
thing
me.
I say.
That is a 6.
Okay. This is a bad news situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not breathing. Doesn't have a heartbeat. He is pale as hell. The blood in the places where he was bitten isn't even really flowing in any way. You think this was an energy drain situation. That's not a potion down the throat. That's a soul has left the body situation. You are the first person to understand that. You're looking up at a room of people who are anxiously looking down at you.
Okay, it looks like he has been energy drained. I do not believe he is revivable without restoration magic. Jamal, do you have anyone with access to that?
What do you mean he's not revivable? She'll push you out of the way and go to him. What do you guys want to do?
I
I'm gonna
can't.
sit down.
I'm sorry, let's go to Rhiannon first. Go ahead, Rhiannon.
I cannot touch him.
Okay. You'll say that. I cannot touch him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Allie, you'll say, I need to sit down. Is that what I heard you say?
Well, I will sit down. I don't think I'm going to say it. I'm just going to go slump into a chair or something.
You'll find that you won't only sit down, you'll fall down when you go to plant your ass in that chair. Pretty much everybody in this group, with the possible exception of Joel, is in shock right now because your adrenaline was pumping. You were in this desperate, dangerous situation, fire, terror, and blood. And now you're safe for the first time since then, and it's all crashing in on you. You know, your thoughts about what you did, what you didn't do, what you could have done, what you should have said, all of that is coming home to roost at this particular moment.
You've only made them angrier.
I want to put a hand. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have I have not called upon my mark over the course of this thing, other than letting it teleport me once. I am going to try to call upon it for specifically Aminator for healing magic, and I'm going to do that by putting my hands on either side of his heart, screaming "Clear!"
Yes.
seeing if I can bring him back.
All right, Randy, you were also going to do a thing just now.
Oh, I was just going to talk to Jamal.
Okay.
If he's going to try and heal him,
Jamal is
What
looking at him,
happens?
like checking for the same things that Joel checked for a moment ago, and she seems just distraught. No, this can't be happening. He just arrived. He was sent here by Finder. So if you
I
want to
will-
say something to her, now's the moment.
Yeah, I will put my hand on her shoulder and I say, and he did Finder's good work. None of us would have survived without his aid. And Eric was even able to save another woman with the opening that he gave us.
She's looking at you with desperate eyes that tears are welling up in. Joel, you'll say, clear, and attempt to pour the power of your mark into this body.
That is correct.
So here's the thing. In order for that to work, you have to have something that you can work with. You do not have something that you can work with here. This is me. This is not a person anymore. There is no healing this person. You'll know that because you're trying to pour power and the power is going nowhere. What do you want to do?
I don't think second edition had a revivify. It does. I see if the mark has never spoken to me, but I will. But other people have told me that they talked to it, so I'm going to try to do the telepathic thing and say, if there is anything in there that would help him, I'm trying to access it.
Please roll a 20-sided die.
Came up cockeyed. 5.
A voice, a male voice, a voice filled with age, patience, and wisdom will speak out into your mind. I was wondering how long it would take for you to speak to me. I'll do this because that's what I do with Rhiannon. I appreciate, Joel, what it is you're trying to do, but he is one beyond your help. So Joel will be surprised. Nobody else is probably zoning in on that because you're all living in your own world at this particular moment, except for Randy, you living in the world that Jamal and you inhabit. Jamal will look over desperately at you, Joel. You are doing a thing. You said clear.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
So you get out the words, I'm sorry. And then that's it. Any composure that Jamal had left vanishes in a breaking, racking sob. And she just starts wailing. And that is where we will end our session for tonight.
Well,
Hey.
So I've been Eric Scott to be. Often I DM games on this channel, and I often inflict tragedies like this onto my players. So well done, Chris. Well done. You could find me online and on this channel and stuff. Take it away, Allie.
Hi everybody, I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short. Yeah, I'm a TTRPG streamer, a writer, a game designer, and apparently I shadow danced. So that's fun. That's a win for me amid all of the other stuff that just happened.
She did have a chance to teach you.
I've been Rhiannon Held. Check out my books, the Silver series under Rhiannon Held, and my space opera novellas. The series is now complete if that's something you want. The Amsterdam Institute series starting with Clean Install. We've got carbon composite wings and nanites and galactic empires and snarky AI that's got lots of cool stuff in it. And tonight, thank you to our moderators, whoever is in the channel, we really appreciate you. And the ones playing here too.
Hi, I've been Randy, and thank you all for watching.
Hey everybody, been Joel Everett, and I'm feeling very validated in my skepticism of the marks. Come hang out on the Discord with us, chat about fun, nerdy stuff. See you next time.
And I am Chris, the DM. Please join us for episode 10 of Isekai Realms to see what interesting things occur next. Back over to you, Eric. I've rendered him
Do our sign
speechless.
off?
Take us out, Rhiannon.
Since we're so many writers, until next time, may your word counts and your rolls be equally high.